Vice Mayor Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Flores.
Commissioner Flores?
Commissioner Flores.
Roll call. Say here. It's roll call.
Mayor Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Powell. Here. Commissioner Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss. Commissioner Woodward.
Commissioner
Here.
Weiss is floating around somewhere.
He's getting a tea.
Okay. All right. I have asked Commissioner Powell if he would lead us in the invocation. For those of you that can stand, please do so. And then it'll be followed by the pledge. Thank you.
Praise the Lord, everybody. We come to you today, Lord, with bowed head and humble heart. Dear God, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. Well, bless us as we continue to move forward and work together to follow the challenges of the state, the county, and the local. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if you have your cell phones on, please turn them to silent.
It's a mess out there. There are probably 100 people.
There's a lot of people in line.
Please show that Commissioner Weiss is here. We are going to have a long day today. I hope everyone has a little bit of patience. And we are going to have about an hour's worth of proclamations. So I look forward to that. In the meantime, we are on the agenda approval process. Do we have any additions? Again, someone turn their phone off, please. Any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the board, yes. On page 81, 3GG1 has the revised motion and title. Page 98, 6D5 is an add-on. It's the $2.250 million that we received from Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick for affordable workforce housing. On page 98, 105, 6G3 has been deleted for further staff review. Also on page 106, 6G4 has been deleted for further staff review. That concludes our additions, deletions, and substitutions.
May I get a motion to adopt, please?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Our consent agenda follows on pages 14 through 81. Do we have any cards on consent? No? Commissioner Baxter, would you like to sign?
On accident.
Okay, we have consent agenda in front of us. Do I have anyone who wants to pull anything from consent? Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, there's a couple of items I do wish to pull from consent so that we can discuss them during agenda review. All right. And they concern housing and economic development. So, yes. That would be I-4, which is found on the consent agenda on page 45. And I think that's it. Just let me double check. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. So we will move consent agenda item 3I4. We will hear that immediately after consent. May I get a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
The first was by the Vice Mayor, the second was by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. We will now hear item 3I4, which was on page 4 and 5. And Commissioner Sachs, would you like a presentation? Yes, please. Okay. Yes, a brief presentation would be great. It's good to notice that neither the taxing power nor faith and credit of the county, nor any county funds are pledged to pay the principal, redemption, or premium, if any, or interest on these bonds. So, presentation, quick one would be great.
Very quick. Tammy Fields, County Administration, Sherry Howard from Department of Housing and Economic Sustainability, and Jeff Bolton also from that department. Briefly, this is just a procedural matter that with the Housing Finance Authority, when they issue bonds, it has to come to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. But as you noted, Mayor, the full faith and credit of the county is not pledged. This is really more of a ministerial act for the Board of County Commissioners. The project in question is Calusa, which is a project that the board has previously supported with other funding, and this is just a method of getting all of the funding forward. When the project was previously submitted, it did include that there would be the bonds from the Housing Finance Authority.
Thank you. Commissioner Sachs, any questions?
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Is Jonathan Brown here, who's the head of our Housing and Economic Authority? Here at the bar?
Sherry is here. She is the
No, I can see Sherry is here. And I know she doesn't look like Mr. Brown. I know that, but I wonder if he's here.
He is on his way.
Good, very good. Well, maybe you could probably just answer some of my questions. And hopefully when he comes in, thanks, if he could help you out, because I think, is he the department head?
Yes.
Very good.
But
And
this is-
he's not here right now, Mr. Brown?
I'm the deputy director.
No, I
Maybe
know
can-
you are.
okay.
I can, thank you. I can see you. But I'm looking for the head. And when he arrives, I wonder if he could come forward, because he knew I was going to ask him these questions in the agenda review yesterday. My question is this: how much money is the county putting in for these units? Because the Housing Authority is financing a portion of the costs, and how much of it is going to be put in by county money?
The county is putting in $7.5 million of housing bond funds and
75 million.
7.560
7.5.
million, and 2.5 of the ARPA replacement funds.
Okay, so 2.5 of ARPA and 7.5 of the bond. And of these rental units, how many will be available for folks who have just been evicted because they can't pay their rent?
These definitely may serve some that will do that. There are 42 units that are set aside for 30% or below AMI. There's 58 units for below 60% AMI. 10 units at or below 70% AMI, and 58 units at or below 80% AMI. So it's a very diverse representation of AMIs.
And if someone is going to be able, let's say a single mom and her kids, if they've been evicted from their apartment, they have no place to go, we would call them, what would we call them?
30% or below AMI.
Okay, so unsheltered folks or homeless people, would they qualify to have one of these rental units?
These ARPA, I'm sorry.
Jonathan, you want to come forward? Wait, it's not here. Okay, sorry. I thought he was here. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh. This is Bree. She is from the developer. She can go
No,
ahead.
I'd like to
and-
talk to county,
Okay.
okay?
So these
you go
are
right ahead,
ARPA
and you might want to speak into the microphone so we can all hear. Go right ahead.
These are ARPA replacement
I
fund.
can't hear you again. Speak up.
That's weird.
I know. Never works when you want it to.
The ARPA replacement funds do assist people that are at or at risk of homelessness.
Okay, how about somebody who's not at risk, but is homeless? Do I have a unit that we're discussing here that would be available for a mom and her child who has been evicted and is homeless? Yes, Dr. Fields, go
You
ahead.
could have a unit available if the mother had income that would qualify for her to be able to move into the apartment. As you know, many of our families that are unsheltered right now are working 1 and 2 jobs. So if they had the income that they would be able to support the rent at one of the lower AMI units, yes, they would be able to be accommodated.
So if a mom and her child was evicted, hardly had enough money to take care of her phone bill, has no money, that's why she's unsheltered or homeless, would that mom be able to get into one of these units that we're spending $7.5 million from the housing bond and $4 million from ARPA funds?
She would still need to be able to support the rent.
So
that-
she is not eligible. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Brown. They've already taken care of the question and the answer. Thank you anyways. I have no further questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move to approve item 3I4.
I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye. I am opposed.
See that motion carries 6-1.
6-2. 5-2. I oppose.
See that the motion carries 5-2 with 2 in opposition. Commissioner Sacks, Commissioner Flores. Thank you. All right, we are now on to special presentations. And I know we have a lot of them. So, let's get to the page here. Okay, how about we go with District 2 and District 4? District 2, proclamation declaring March 9th Literacy AmeriCorps Week, and District 4, certificate of congratulations to Fire Rescue.
Good morning. I'd like to call up Megan Winston, Christopher Thompson, Kristen Calder, Don
Could you make sure those microphones are turned up, please?
Kimberly Tuapaya, and Joseph Scott. And it is going to be my pleasure to recognize March 9th through 15th, 2025, as Literacy AmeriCorps Week. And for those of you who are not aware of the AmeriCorps program, these are folks that volunteer their time to help make our communities a better place. And one of the things they do is help with literacy and folks and kids learning how to read. So really important work you all are doing. So thank you for being here. More than 30 years ago, AmeriCorps, the federal agency for national service and volunteerism, began its mission to provide opportunities for Americans of all backgrounds to serve their country, address the nation's most pressing challenges, and improve the lives and communities. From March 9th through 15th, 2025, AmeriCorps Week will be celebrated nationally, recognizing the commitment of millions of Americans who have chosen to serve their country through AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Seniors. Literacy AmeriCorps is the AmeriCorps program of the Literacy Coalition of Palm Beach County, administered through Volunteer Florida. And in Palm Beach County, almost half of all third graders read below grade level, when more than 22% of adults ages 16 and older lack basic literacy skills. Nearly 17% of babies born in the country in 2023 were to mothers who had not graduated from high school. Over 33% of Palm Beach County residents ages 5 and older speak a language other than English. The mission of the Literacy Coalition of Palm Beach County is to improve the quality of life in our community by promoting and achieving literacy. And whereas the Literacy AmeriCorps Palm Beach County program recruits and trains 30 members a year to serve as tutors, coaches, and teachers throughout the county, the AmeriCorps member are assigned to elementary schools, high schools, libraries, and family literacy centers where they tutor students, provide graduation coaching, and teach adult literacy. The year-long assignment also includes meaningful community service projects, and in return for their more than 1,700 hours of service a year, members receive a stipend, health insurance, and an educational award. AmeriCorps members pledge to get things done. Their commitment to service and volunteerism exemplifies the mission to improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March, 2025, that March 9th through 15th, 2025 is hereby proclaimed Literacy AmeriCorps Week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll make it brief because you have a long day, but thank you, Commissioner Weiss, and I think everything else was stated in our proclamation.
Like brief.
Okay, while they take their picture, if I could have a Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Rapid Intervention Team and any of their supporters, please come forward. Congratulations. Okay, we are presenting a certificate of congratulations to the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Rapid Intervention Team, known as RIT. They made history as they competed and won first place out of 21 teams at the 2025 Florida Fire Chiefs Association Florida Fire and Emergency Medical Services Conference. This was RIT's first competition, and the pressure was on, but Palm Beach County conquered. Congratulations. This courageous group of men took on high-stress, high-pressure scenarios based on real-life events, showcasing their skills and readiness. We are extremely proud of their relentless determination, dedication, and teamwork demonstrated by Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. This win illustrates the importance of being prepared, trained, and adaptable in the ever-changing demands of firefighting. Special congratulations to driver-operator Timothy Smale. Which one? Wave. Firefighter paramedic Maximiliano Maravinkin. Perfect. Firefighter paramedic Nolan Lynch. And Lieutenant Chris Curtis. And firefighter paramedic Sean Lawton. Congratulations, Guy. We are presenting this on the 11th day of March 2025, and all of your Palm Beach County commissioners are very proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner Woodward. Thank you to the county administrators, the board, and of course, the administration for Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, the training division for all the support that they've provided us with. obviously that this could not have been done without the gentleman standing behind me here. We've worked long and hard for several years now to bring home this championship. And we're very grateful, but we would be remiss not to mention firefighters Jones and Figueroa, who paid the ultimate sacrifice at the Porterville Fire Department. That's the final scenario that the championship was based off of. So just giving them the remembrance, the reason why we train, why we do what we do, so that we can not take their loss for granted. We were able to remember what they did, the sacrifice that they paid, take that training and bring it back here so that something like that never happens again. So thank you, and thank you for the recognition.
While they're taking their pictures, I know the folks from Digital Vibes are out in the atrium. If they can let them in, please, so we can present their proclamation. He's out there. They're going to let him in.
You want us to go ahead and do?
Digital Vibes, if you guys can come down here, we can give you your proclamation. Let's move, man. Come on, come on. Hey, let's go. That's an entrance. That's what we say. Let's move. All right, we are going to be recognizing March 2025 as Let's Move Palm Beach County. In 2010, Digital Vibes was founded to reach out to underserved youth in Palm Beach County by empowering them through dance, fitness, technology, and the arts. All of my favorite things. Each year, Digital Vibes partners with Palm Health Foundation to host a Let's Move, Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge, a countywide initiative that focuses on physical activity, nutrition, and healthy behaviors. Whereas the annual month-long challenge encourages individuals to take charge of their health by participating in fun fitness activities, the Let's Move initiative was originally introduced on a national level by First Lady Michelle Obama in 2010 with the goal of decreasing childhood obesity. And nearly 1 in 3 children in the United States are overweight or obese, and if this problem persists, these children may suffer from diabetes at some point in their lives or face other obesity-related health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. In 2012, the first year of the challenge, Palm Beach County logged approximately 100,000 minutes. The popularity of the event, though, has increased over the years, and in 2023, more than 1 million minutes were logged in Palm Beach County. Digital Vibe and the Palm Health Foundation invite all residents to take the challenge to move by forming teams, registering online, committing to exercising at least 30 minutes a day throughout March, and logging their minutes in the Let's Move website at www.letsmovepbc.org. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners assembled here in regular session in Palm Beach County, Florida, on the 11th day of March 2025, that March 2025 is hereby proclaimed Let's Move Palm Beach County Month.
Oh, man. Palm Beach County. First off, I would like to say thank you on behalf of DV, the whole Let's Move community. We appreciate the county commissioners for championing the Let's Move initiative. What you guys championing is basically letting people know that, hey, it's crucial to be active and take control of your health. By doing any type of physical activities, it could be walking, running, dancing, go out there, get off your couch and move. That's what it's all about. And now we would like to challenge each one of you guys that are in the room here to go into letsmovepbc.org, create a team or join the team so that way you guys could take part of this action. As Commissioner Wise had mentioned, back in 2012, Palm Beach County logged in 100,000 minutes. The challenge is happening right now. If you go into the Let's Move PBC website right now, you'll see that Palm Beach County already logged in over 6 million minutes. With great support that we've received from the county, we were able to expand the Let's Move beyond the month of March. So now it's Let's Move 365. Yeah, so I'm not going to take too much time. So everybody go to letsmovepbc.org and create a team, join a team, and let's join that challenge.
Excellent.
Okay, I understand there may be some in the overflow area, so we're doing the proclamation for Ethics Awareness Month. I have Christy Kelly, Executive Director, Commission on Ethics, Rhonda Geiger, General Counsel, Commission on Ethics, Gina Levesque, Intake and Compliance Manager, Commission on Ethics, Kristen Farah Garcia, Commissioner, Commission on Ethics, Michael Kreidel, Commissioner, Commission on Ethics, and Inspector General Committee, Michael Kugler, Commissioner, Commission on Ethics and Inspector General Committee, Peter Cruz, Commissioner, Commission on Ethics and Inspector General Committee, John Carey, Inspector General, Calinthia Dillard, General Counsel, Inspector General's Office, Alexia Cox, State Attorney, and Alan Johnson, Chief Assistant State Attorney. We got some big players. Is everybody, do you know where there's some still outside? Okay, so we are declaring March 2025 as Ethics Awareness Month. Whereas the mission of the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics is to foster integrity in public service, to promote public trust and confidence in those services, and prevent conflicts between private interest and public duty. And whereas in recognition of the unique and comprehensive ethics reform program implemented by Palm Beach County, the Commission accomplishes its mission through conducting ongoing educational programs and community outreach and providing clear and timely advice. And whereas the Office of Inspector General, Palm Beach County, was created to provide oversight and foresight in promoting efficiency and integrity in government. And whereas the Office of the State Attorney of the 15th Judicial Circuit in Palm Beach County maintains a multi-agency task force to assist in the overall mission of promoting public trust and ethical behavior by those in public service through its authority to criminally prosecute public corruption cases under state law, as well as criminal violations of the Palm Beach County Code of Ethics. And whereas Florida Atlantic University, through its Leroy Collins Public Ethics Academy, promotes high ethical standards in public service, seeks to increase understanding of local government and how it functions, provides information and research to stimulate more informed policy making, and nurtures local officials for effective governance. Whereas the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics, Office of the Inspector General, Office of the State Attorney, Florida Atlantic University Leroy Collins Public Ethics Academy, and various other stakeholders will participate in ethics awareness activities during the month of March. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March 2025, that March 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Ethics Awareness Month.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for this proclamation. I'm Christy Kelly, Executive Director of the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics, and I want to extend my gratitude to each of you for your continued support of the Commission on Ethics and the work that we do. The mission of the Commission is to enhance integrity in public service and to increase the public's trust in government. And here in Palm Beach County, the ethics movement actually began over 15 years ago at the direction of the voters, and today it is continuing to thrive and be strong. Your continued support of the Commission on Ethics not only ensures that there is transparency, accountability, and fairness in government processes, but it actually creates a culture where ethics and ethical conduct is not only expected, but it is celebrated. So with this proclamation, the Commission is going to celebrate ethics awareness this month, and we're going to continue to celebrate it throughout the year. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners,
Morning.
County staff, Clerk Abruzzo, guests, members of the community. Thank you for allowing me to join you today as we recognize Ethics Awareness Month here in Palm Beach County. I must say that I am so proud to live in a community where ethical conduct is not just aspirational, but it is the standard that we set for government and public service. I'm honored to stand here as your state attorney, a longtime prosecutor, public servant, former chair of the Florida Bar's Professional Ethics Committee, and someone who is dedicated to promoting ethical conduct in the practice of law. Ethics is central to public service. It's more than a set of rules. It's a commitment to integrity, accountability, and maintaining public trust above all else. At the State Attorney's Office, ethics guides our work every single day, and we understand that public trust is not given lightly. It must be earned and preserved through transparency, fairness, and impartiality. The Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics has done a remarkable job to uphold these values, setting an example for communities everywhere. By prioritizing ethics, Palm Beach County ensures decisions and actions align with the best interests of our residents. Through today's proclamation, we continue to demonstrate that ethical standards are not optional, they are essential, making Palm Beach County a place where residents can trust their government to serve their best interest. Thank you again for your steadfast commitment to ethics and integrity in public service. Our office proudly stands with you, united in our shared mission of ensuring ethical governance and maintaining the trust of those we serve. Thank you. Thank you all.
While they take a picture, can I have Lisa Archer from the Howe Foundation, Michael Crane from the Howe Foundation, Karen Crane, Janet Butts, Allison Jimenez, Elizabeth Clark, Allison Conyers, Janelle Finney, Michelle Duchesne, Nicole Coates, Paul Falks, Taylor Musimi, Ellen Baker, and Juanita Emanuel. To the front, please. In that order. We're declaring March 2025 as Brain Injury Awareness Month. Whereas acquired brain injury is often overlooked and underfunded and affects thousands of Floridians each year.
Congratulations.
And a traumatic brain injury is caused by a bump, blow, jolt, or penetration to the head that disrupts normal brain functions. And an estimated 3.8 million traumatic brain injuries occur in the United States each year during competitive sports and recreational activities. And more than 5.3 million Americans are currently living with long-term effects of brain injuries. And falls are a leading cause of brain-related injuries in Florida. But they can also be caused by motor vehicle accidents, assaults, sports-related injuries, occupational injuries, or opioid overdoses. And 30% of sports-related injuries occur among youth from 5 to 19 years of age. And because the signs of brain injury are not always well recognized, this may put them at risk for another injury and the potentially fatal second impact syndrome. And an injury that happens in an instant can bring a lifetime of physical, cognitive, and behavioral challenges, and approximately 50% of mild traumatic brain injuries go unreported and undetected. And early and adequate intervention, including access to innovative therapies such as medical-grade hyperbaric oxygen therapy, will greatly increase the quality of life and enable individuals with brain injury to return to activities at home, school, work, or in the community. Whereas traumatic brain injury has the signature injury of wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and treatments is often complicated by high rates of post-traumatic stress disorder and suicide, presenting new challenges for members of the military and their families. And the Help Our Wounded Foundation is dedicated to raising awareness of traumatic brain injury and blast-induced post-traumatic stress and providing access to life-changing HBOT for people suffering from the debilitating and debilitating effects of these conditions. And whereas HBOT has shown promising results in helping veterans with TBI and PTSD by reducing inflammation, repairing brain tissue, and improving overall cognitive and emotional well-being, offering a pathway to recovery for those who have served our nation. Now, there be for it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on the 11th day of March 2025, that March 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Brain Injury Awareness Month.
We would like to thank the commission for the recognition. The Howe Foundation's Concussed Student Athlete Program is dear to all of our hearts, whether it be as a mother, an educator, mental health professional. And the Howe Foundation provides access and funding to help those students who are suffering silently. And again, we thank you.
All right, and while they're taking their picture, if I can get Wilnita Emanuel and all of the grants writers here in the house to come forward, because today we're declaring March 14, 2025 as Grant Professional Day. And she's taking the picture. All right. Whereas grant professionals play a pivotal role in securing and protecting funding for vital projects and programs that address the needs of children, youth, the elderly, the disadvantaged, the environment, the arts, education, libraries, hospitals, and more. And whereas these dedicated individuals work diligently, often behind the scenes, to research, identify, and apply for grants opportunities, ensuring the development and implementation of initiatives that enrich our communities. And whereas, upon securing funding, grant professionals continue to provide invaluable services by managing grants responsibilities, ensuring compliance with funding requirements, reporting progress, and overseeing the financial and programmatic aspect of the projects and guarantee successful outcomes. And whereas the work of grant professionals extend beyond financial gains to include building capacity, offering long-term solutions to community challenges, providing fundraising assistance, managing projects expertly, and fostering sustainable programming. And whereas recognizing the hard work, dedication, and significant impact of grant professionals, including those involved in post-award management, strengthen our community, encourages continued professional development, and highlights the importance of grantmanship in achievement societal goals. And whereas the county's Grant cross-departmental team was created under the direction of County Administrator Virginia Baker by the Strategic Planning and Performance Grant Division to break down silos and encourage cross-developmental collaboration in working to secure the management of grants in Palm Beach County. And whereas in fiscal year 2024, Palm Beach County reported $306,899,016 in grant expenditures for nearly 350 unique grants for various programs. And whereas And whereas recognizing the importance of grant professionals, the Grant Professional Association has declared March 14, 2025 as International Grant Professional Day. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March 2025, that March 14, 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Grant Professional Day.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. My name is Ed Chase. I'm the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs for the county, and it is my privilege to be representing the dozens of very skillful and very talented grants professionals that you have working for you throughout most of your departments. Grant writing is not just filling out an application. Grant writing is an art. It's the art of storytelling. It's describing a need. It is explaining how those federal, state, or foundation dollars will be used, and it's showing how the community will ultimately benefit. But that's just the application. These professionals are also responsible for the effective and efficient management of those funds down to the penny. Your grants cross-departmental team is committed to ensure that Palm Beach County receives more than its fair share of grant funding opportunities. And the team looks forward to providing you with suggestions and strategies to ensure continued grant success for the county. Thank you for recognizing these professionals.
And while they take their picture, can I have some county departments, including Youth Services, community-based agencies and Community Services Department, financially assisted agencies, including the Riviera Beach Reentry with Stanley Hooks. Please make your way to the podium. This is a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, declaring March 2025 as Social Work Month. Whereas, social workers play vital roles in the community supporting our most vulnerable individuals, as this work is crucial to the well-being of those served on a daily basis. And these professionals have found a profound impact on the life of youth, families, and our communities. And social workers are at the forefront of addressing the mental health and substance abuse disorder crisis affecting many communities in our area. They adhere to a code of ethics, which defines the primary mission as promoting well-being and addressing the fundamental needs of all individuals, with a focus on supporting and empowering those who are vulnerable, oppressed, or experiencing poverty. And social workers are found in every facet of community life, including schools, hospital, mental health clinics, senior centers, private offices, prisons, the military, and numerous public agencies. And social workers are dedicated to providing the best quality services to all Palm Beach County residents. And the county's Youth Services Department, Residential Treatment, and Family Counseling Divisions provide free, accessible, and professional trauma-informed mental health services and educational programs to youth and families to support healthy development and promote well-being and child welfare. Social workers serve some of the most vulnerable children, youth, and families. Social workers specialize in building on the strength of families and helping to provide safe and nurturing environments for children and youth and young adults. Whereas, the clinical social workers are one of the nation's largest group of providers of mental health services in both urban and rural settings. And social workers assist people of every age and background in every corner of the country. They hold more than 700,000 jobs in the United States, and most of them provide direct services to individuals, families, and groups. To help provide needed services throughout the community, the county's Youth Services Department works with several local agencies, such as the Reentry Center in Riviera Beach, where Sago Palm case manager Stanley Hooks assists clients on a daily basis. Now, therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March 2025, that March 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Social Worker Month.
Good morning, Ms. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner Powell, County Commissioners, County Administrator Ms. Vardinia Baker, Assistant County Administrator Ms. Tammy Fields. It is an honor to be here today. My name is Katia Cavalli, and I am a licensed clinical social worker. I currently serve as the Chief of Community-Based Clinical Services at the Youth Services Department. Over the course of my career, I have been privileged to witness firsthand the positive impact that social workers have in the lives of individuals and families. Whether it is offering a listening ear, providing mental health support, or advocating for those in need, the work we do is truly transformative. I want to take this moment to thank everyone for supporting our profession and for recognizing the importance of proclaiming March as Social Work Month. The impact that social workers have in our community is nothing short of amazing, and it is truly a privilege to stand here with my fellow social workers today. We have several Palm Beach County departments and partnering community-based agencies and financially assistant agencies attending. We appreciate the internal and external collaboration and representation. Social workers are the backbone of many of the vital services in our communities, and I am proud to be part of this profession. As we reflect on our role in society, we are reminded of our duty to advocate for the most vulnerable and to promote well-being and empowerment for all individuals. Together, we continue to make a difference, and I am grateful for the ongoing support of our community. Thank you.
All right, and while they take their picture, I'm going to call up Gabby Viteri and all of the wonderful women artists in the room to please come forward. We are declaring March 5th through the 15th, 2025 as Women Arts Week. Whereas Palm Beach County recognizes the arts as an important part of its cultural heritage and one of our greatest assets. And whereas countless female artists in music, visual arts, literature, performing arts, film, acting, photography, and other forms of expression call the county home and have been influenced by our county for decades. And whereas during the week of March 5th to the 15th, artists, business owners, arts organizations, creative professionals, and communities throughout the county will celebrate the arts, female artists, and their impact through numerous community events and arts activations across the county. And whereas women artists have the notable ability to unite, empower, and inspire through the creativity, passion, and self-expression. And whereas First Female, a community group focusing on women's arts, sponsors arts exhibits and events supporting local talent to elevate diversity, cultural appeal, and preservation of local culture of Palm Beach County and contribute to its economic growth and societal enrichment. And whereas First Female and Women's Arts Week are sponsoring Parallel, the first all-female photography exhibit in the county featuring all local female photographers. And whereas during the Women's Arts Week, female artists in Palm Beach County will come together under one theme, Parallels, to demonstrate the creativity and the arts unify community, create a bridge between cultures, and share positive and uplifting experiences. And whereas statistics show that in the last decade, only 14% of exhibitions in prominent museums were dedicated to a female artist, and women earn only 81 cents for every dollar made by a male artist. And whereas First Female and Women's Arts Week are dedicated to creating opportunity and bringing awareness to the lack of female representation in the arts, which helps improve statistics for female artists. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in this regular session on the 11th day of March 2025, that March 5th to the 15th of 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Women's Arts Week.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Flores. This has been a labor of love and a passion of mine, so I'm very excited to see that Women's Art Week is official. And I'm going to ask Haley Sheldon to speak just some words.
Thank you, everyone. As an artist who was born and raised and is now living and working here in Palm Beach County, I think I speak for all women artists in our area when I say that this is a special moment for our region and an important step in increasing the visibility and exposure of women in the arts. Whether through a painting, a song, a poem, a photograph, artists do the vulnerable and important work of distilling life experiences and a kaleidoscope of perspectives down into tangible images and forms of expression. Artists add to the richness of humanity. We keep the stories of life and shift culture, and without equal platforms and opportunities for our women artists, the mothers, sisters, daughters, and friends, we do all people a disservice. I'm excited and expectant of what the future holds for women in the arts, and proud the place I call home, that Palm Beach County is the first ever to officially have a Women's Art Week. I'm encouraged and hopeful that this week will set a precedent of elevating the work and voices of women artists in South Florida, so my daughters and their daughters will have increasingly higher shoulders to stand on till all artists' voices are equal. Thank you.
All righty. Florida Bicycle Month. I know we have a few people in the audience. Tammy Fields, Jennifer Cirillo, Paul Connell, David Ricks, Ivan Maldonado, Valerie Nielsen, Brian Ruscher, and Saul Tonjic. Can you please come up here as we celebrate Florida Bicycle Month? Hello, all. So this is a proclamation declaring March 2025 as Florida Bicycle Month, whereas thousands of Palm Beach County residents and visitors engage in bicycling as a viable and environmental sound form of transportation and an excellent form of physical activity. Florida recognizes March as Bicycle Month, and Palm Beach County recognizes it locally. Palm Beach County supports efforts to make bicycling a safer and more widely chosen mode of transportation. And the Palm Beach County Parks and Recreation Department features over 50 miles of trails for recreational bicycling, 3 mountain biking trails, and upright hand cycles for adults with physical disabilities. The department also operates a world-class BMX facility at Okehilly Park and the new bicycle pump track that is under construction. PalmTran operates a public transit network of 30 fixed routes served by buses with bicycle racks to promote safe biking, enabling riders to extend their bicycle commutes to attractions, employment, shopping, and entertainment. And in an effort to promote safe bicycling, PalmTran provides 8.5 million fixed route bus trips per year, reducing traffic congestion by the removal of nearly 30,000 vehicles from roadways during morning commute hours and the afternoon and evening. Florida Bicycle Month features a number of local events for riders of all ages. And the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency plans and funds projects to make bicycling more accessible and develops performance targets and safety initiatives aimed at reducing bicycle-related fatalities and injuries. Through these efforts, Palm Beach County currently has nearly 300 miles of designated bicycle facilities and will continue to promote a connected network of improved bicycle infrastructure. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March, that March 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Florida Bicycle Month. Who gets to talk?
Thank you, Mayor, so very much. It's an honor to be here among our partners at the Transportation Planning Authority, our engineering department, county engineering, County Palm Tran. Thank you to the commissioners for supporting safe biking throughout our community. It's very important, especially an outdoors community like we are, and to find those transportation and recreation alternatives. So thank you very much for your support. And everybody get out and bike, Florida Bike Month.
And if any of our other TPA members want to join, because we have several members of the Board of County Commissioners that serve on the Transportation Planning Agency, you're more than welcome to join us.
While they're taking their picture, let's move on to the next one. If I could have Mr. John Fisher come on up, as well as Jennifer Lee, if she's here also. If you could come on up at this time. All right. Come on up right over here.
There's quite a few people outside. Could you bring them in? They're outside the door.
Well, I think they're probably watching right now, so you can wave. Absolutely. And I want everybody outside and inside to hear this proclamation, because this is a very exciting proclamation. This declares March 11th, 2025 as John Fisher Day. All right? I can hear them from outside. I can hear them. Whereas John Fisher has been a resident of Palm Beach County and has faithfully served as a paramedic firefighter captain for 27 years. And whereas John Fisher has led bagpipe bands, although you're not wearing the skirt today, are you, Mr. Later, representing the county in memorial services, parades, and events nationwide, honoring our first responders. And whereas John Fisher has led American Fire Service and law enforcement uniformed personnel in representing this county and the United States of America in memorial services and parades commemorating the 75th and 80th anniversaries of D-Day in Belgium, Luxembourg, and Normandy, France, and the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor in Honolulu, Hawaii. And whereas his Florida Firefighters Pipes and Drums Corps was chosen out of hundreds of groups across the country to represent Florida and Palm Beach County in the 60th annual presidential inaugural parade for President Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., where the group marched and played America the Beautiful and God Bless America to an arena of 20,000 viewers. Their parade performance, viewed by the president and their families, was watched by approximately 7 million people worldwide. And before I finish, let me say that whereas John Fisher has led a campaign, a political campaign, to be a member of this board because of his enthusiasm and his love for our county. So whereas the Board of County Commissioners recognizes and appreciates John Fisher for his continuous honorable and patriotic representation of Palm Beach County, Florida, and the United States of America, therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County. Well, the longer I talk, the more people come on up here. You know, I'm almost at the end now, so if you're going to come, better be here. Assembled in regular session on the 11th day of March 2025, that this day in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed John Fisher Day.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Mayor,
Commissioners, Commissioner Sachs, I'd like to begin by thanking Commissioner Sachs for bestowing this honor upon me. Thank you very much. It is a very big honor for this. To give you a little more context as to what you're generously acknowledging here today with this awesome proclamation for me, 16 years ago, while working as a captain with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue and playing the bagpipes, but not at the same time, I was asked to get involved with the Delray Beach St. Patrick's Day Parade, and through social media was able to draw uniformed first responders from all over the United States and 7 other countries. I then brought Honor Flight and had our local World War II veterans, guided by the uniformed personnel from all those municipalities, all those states, all those countries, to lead the parade. More parents were now bringing their children to see the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Delray Beach. It's next week, by the way, next Saturday. The parade established a relationship with the Belgian firefighters, and they set us up with the memorial events and the parades in Belgium, Luxembourg, right on down in Normandy, France, for the anniversaries of their liberation at the end of World War II. As written in the proclamation, we've also been to Pearl Harbor. All of this information I submitted in the application to participate in the recent 60th annual presidential inaugural parade in Washington, D.C. That application was one of hundreds submitted nationwide from other groups and organizations. Word got out to Florida congressional, state, and local representatives, Brian Mast, Toby Oberdorf, Meg Weinberger, Chip LaMarca, Bill Posey, Aaron Bean, Senator Gail Harrell, and Delray Beach Mayor Tom Carney. They all wrote letters of reference for us to attach with our application for the inaugural parade. We were initially one of 54 other parade organizations chosen. And when the parade was moved off of Pennsylvania Avenue into the Capital One Arena, they narrowed it down to 7. We made that cut. So very, very proud of that. Our band was introduced to an arena, as was said before by Commissioner Sachs, of 20,000 Americans, and as the Florida firefighters' pipes and drums from Boca Raton, Florida, that's how they introduced us. When we performed the 2 songs, America the Beautiful and God Bless America, it gave us goosebumps when we heard that entire arena sing our national songs with us. It was beautiful. As a retired captain of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, it is a privilege and an honor to continue representing Palm Beach County and the great state of Florida nationally and worldwide. Thank you, and in closing, I wish you all a happy and healthy John Fisher Day.
Okay, let's everybody get in the picture, shall we?
Yes, let's get a picture.
Everybody come on over here. Get right next to you. We've waited all this time. I got everybody together here. John Fisher. John Fisher.
Thank you.
I got to ask, what are you going to do? Don't say a
While they take pictures, if Councilwoman Selena Samios would please join me. The Women's Chamber of Commerce and any other women community leaders, please come up.
Here's the real picture, the official picture.
Good morning. So today we will be declaring March 2025 as Women History Month. Whereas the women of every race, class, ethnic background, and profession have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our county, state, and nation, and global community that have been critical to the growth and development of our economy, artistic and cultural achievements, social advancements, and the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas 2025 marks the 177th anniversary of the women's rights movement, which served as the impetus by which many women's rights were secured, such as the right to vote, the right to hold public office, improved employment rights and representation, and more. Whereas each year since 1987, March has been designated Women History Month in our nation, and the President of the United States has proclaimed the month of March to be National Women's History Month. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March 2025, that March 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Women History Month.
Thank you. Madam Mayor and esteemed county council members, on behalf of the Women's Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, the Women's Foundation, YWCA, and Executive Women of the Palm Beaches, I am deeply honored to stand before you today to express our heartfelt gratitude for the proclamation recognizing Women's History Month. This proclamation is not just a ceremonial gesture, it is a powerful acknowledgement of the invaluable contributions women have made and continue to make in our community and beyond. By celebrating Women's History Month, we honor the trailblazers who have paved the way for future generations, the unsung heroes whose everyday actions inspire change, and the young girls who will become the leaders of tomorrow. This proclamation serves as a reminder of the progress we have made and the work that still lies ahead to achieve true equality. Thank you for your unwavering support and commitment to uplifting the voices and stories of women. Your recognition empowers us to continue striving for a more inclusive and equitable society. Together, we can ensure that the legacy of women's achievements is celebrated not just this month, but every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along. If I could have Dr. Sandra Anderson, and who is a community liaison for the Florida Department of Health, and members of the HIV elimination staff. If y'all could come on up.
If there's anybody else out there waiting.
Very good, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to declare March 2025 as Palm Beach County Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Month. We ladies are doing a lot today, all right? The whole month, so put on your seatbelts. Whereas in Palm Beach County, 34% of people living with HIV are women. And in 2023, 31% of new HIV diagnoses were women. And whereas in the county, the highest number of new diagnoses is among blacks and black women, account for 26% of all new HIV infections. And whereas in Palm Beach County, 23% of women with HIV are not receiving HIV care and treatment. And women account for 29% of HIV-related deaths. Additionally, all HIV-related deaths in 2023 were among black women. And whereas in the county, among women aged 13 to 24 who are living with HIV, 46% are women and 38% are black women. And whereas this year's theme, prevention and testing at every age, care and treatment at every stage, emphasizes the need to further prevention efforts and ensure equity, equality, and HIV care and treatment. Whereas in Palm Beach County, nearly 8,000 people are living with HIV. And we have to, through our Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, prevent, through our partners, to renew HIV and AIDS awareness and to expand and strengthen local efforts to halt the spread of HIV. Whereas all our residents are encouraged to take part in activities to help increase awareness and understanding of HIV/AIDS as a global challenge and join the effort to prevent further spread of HIV/AIDS. Palm Beach County Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Month. This month, and I must say every month, we should make sure that we ensure that women and girls are treated fairly and equitably in our treatment against HIV and AIDS. So be it further proclaimed that this proclamation is duly sealed. This is important. Ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to recognize what you all do so that we can all become part of your movement today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Perspective is everything. And this proclamation is a blessing today. I want to thank this amazing team that's standing behind me right now. Thank you. Because of them, I am so grateful. And I stand here grateful because of this perspective that I carry. And this allows me to see HIV and this epidemic from two different, very important perspectives. One, as a community leader, as a therapist, and as someone who's working on the front lines to end the HIV epidemic. But the second one is one that have lived with HIV for over 30 years, coming from a CD4 of 2, which is an AIDS diagnosis, to now a healthy, undetectable viral load and a healthy CD4. Thank you. So I see beyond the statistics, understanding that it is an important element that we must address to end the HIV epidemic. And in the loving and unforgettable words of my sister Joyce Ann Anderson, who would sing that wonderful song from The Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, to us at night when we would go to sleep, I tell you, I am here because I had to come home. Wasn't that the whole point of that movie? Coming back home. Coming back home to my voice, my value, my individuality, my right to life, to liberty, and to pursuit of my happiness. That is what we're missing. And I didn't know this 53 years ago when I was hearing the lullaby of my sister. That song would carry me through my life and the challenges. These are the hidden factors of why HIV is disproportionately impacting women and girls. Domestic violence, unresolved grief and trauma. These are the true epidemics that keeps us from coming home, not to a brick or mortar, but right here, living in this house from birth to death. This is my home. So I came home, and now I am here with optimal adherence, 38 years, clean and sober, free from domestic violence after 20 years. And through therapy and being teachable, with my counselor, Dr. Paul Heckstrom, I am not only mentally and emotionally well today after going through all that grief and trauma. I am home. I am home. And there's no place like home. So I want to thank this amazing team, Anita, Dr. Casey Messer, all of this wonderful team, Dr. Green, Mr. Green. I want to thank Rob Scott and the amazing team at the Florida Department of Health, where we are in it to end it. We are helping people to come home, and we are determined to be the healthiest state in the nation. Thank you.
That's going to be a tough act to follow. So if I could have the farmers join me up here, I'm going to start with Keith Wedgeworth, a fourth-generation farmer, Olivia Pope, fourth-generation farmer, and her mother Angie, Danya Roberts, third-generation farmer, Sam Ferris, the Farm Bureau district representative, Caroline Villanueva, Florida Crystals, and sixth-generation farm business, family business, PBSO's Ag Unit Sergeant Brad Seifker, who escorted all the fresh vegetables downstairs at the mini farmers market earlier this morning. Many might know there is an ag unit of the Sheriff's Office, but it's a must in the largest ag producing county in Florida and east of the Mississippi River. A special recognition to Jim Alderman, who could not join us here today. He is the Florida Farmer of the Year and is down the road in Boynton Beach. And is from down the road in Boynton Beach. Also, if Dr. Samira Daraub, forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, UF IFAS Everglades Research and Education Center Director is also here with us with Western Palm Beach County Farm Bureau. So it is my privilege and my honor to be giving this proclamation today. As most of you know, District 6 is the largest ag district in the county, but not only get to represent the largest ag district in the county, we are also the largest ag county east of the Mississippi for winter vegetables. So we have a lot of amazing things. I like to remind people that Palm Beach County does not only represent palm trees, we also represent farmers and amazing, amazing people. So we are declaring today, March 18th, 2025, as National Agriculture Day, whereas this year marks the 52nd anniversary of National Agriculture Day, when Americans across the nation celebrate the vital role that our farmers, ranchers, and local agricultural industries and workforce play in providing us with a safe, abundant, and affordable food supply. And whereas Palm Beach County farmers lead the nation in the production of sugarcane, sweet corn, and sweet bell peppers, whereas county farmers lead the state in the production of rice, lettuce, specialty leafy greens, radishes, Chinese vegetables, and celery, whereas Palm Beach County leads all counties east of the Mississippi River for the production of food crops, with a large volume of vegetables harvest being distributed as fresh produce throughout the eastern seaboard of the United States during the cold winter months, and whereas our agricultural community includes the plant nursery industry, which ranks third in Florida for economic impacts, and these ornamental horticulture growers inspire homeowners, businesses, and municipalities to beautify their landscape for everyone's aesthetic benefit. Whereas the agricultural industry has faced significant challenges over the years, including natural disasters, arrival of new pests and diseases that damage crops, unpredictable markets, and ever-changing consumer demands. Notably, our farmers have demonstrated strength, resilience, and adaptability in the face of these challenges. Whereas our farmers protect the soil and water by implementing science-based best management practices, which are strategies that promote environmental stewardship while also supporting the high-quality food supply that many of us take for granted. Whereas citizens are encouraged to use this day to give thought to where their food comes from, buy food products made in the United States of America, and thank our American men and women farmers for the daily food that we enjoy. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 11th day of March 2025. Side note, happy birthday, Dad. That March 18th, 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed National Agriculture Day.
Thank y'all very much. I'm Keith Wedgeworth, fourth generation farmer. On behalf of all the farmers here in Palm Beach County, we'd like to thank Commissioner Baxter and the rest of the commission for everything that y'all do. It's great to know that we're the largest county east of the Mississippi in ag production and to have the support of the commission. So thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Olivia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olivia Pope Helms, and I am a fourth-generation farmer here in Palm Beach County. My family got started in 1927, so we are coming up on almost a century working here in Palm Beach County. We are dedicated to the area, and I would just like to thank all of you on the commission for recognizing us and all the hard work that not only us, but all of the farm workers in the area do for this community and county. Thank you.
And thank you very much for all the vegetables that were out front this morning. Going to make my mom really happy with the rice, my dad really happy with the corn, and my mom really happy with the radishes.
Yeah, I'll just wrap this up real briefly. You can be thankful today that I'm not a farmer. because if I was a farmer, you'd all be hungry right now. It's a very difficult job. I can't do it. Our Palm Beach County farmers are experts at growing food from the soil, yet they're very vulnerable. They face many difficulties: bad weather events, the arrival of new pests and diseases that damage crops, unpredictable markets, all the while taking on tremendous economic risks to bring food to our tables. And today, we thank our hardworking men and women, not only in Palm Beach County, but all of our farming communities in the nation for producing the food that we need, food that we often take for granted. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for lasting this long. This is our last proclamation of the 14 today, and it is Government Finance Professionals Week. So may I please have Sherry Brown, Radcliffe Brown, representatives from the clerk's office, representatives from the Financial Management and Budget office, and anybody else who wants to join us. Thank you for always looking after our books. Clerk Abruzzo, you joining us? Virginia, you joining us? Okay. So this is a proclamation declaring March 17th through 21st, 2025 as Government Finance Professionals Week. Whereas government finance professionals serve their organizations by managing day-to-day budgeting and accounting operations, establishing financial policies, and performing other important fiscal roles that improve the safety, livability, and vitality of our local communities. These professionals are dedicated to providing fiscal stewardship and accountability to taxpayers and elected officials by safekeeping public records. Government finance professionals provide financial transparency through timely publications of budget information and financial statements that meet the highest standards of government accounting. Government finance professionals strive to remain true to the values that drive their work as public servants. The Florida Government Finance Officers Association, founded in 1937, serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts, colleges and universities, special districts, and private firms. The Palm Beach chapter of the Florida Government Finance Officers Association serves more than 300 professionals from county and city government, the school district, special districts, and private firms. Members adhere to legal, moral, and professional standards of conduct in the fulfillment of professional responsibilities as set forth in a code of ethics. The FGFOA, because I'm getting really tired of saying the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, and its Palm Beach chapter provide opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services they provide to state, county, and local communities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Porter County Commissioners that the week of March 17th through 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Government Finance Professionals Week. Congratulations. Jerry?
Thank you so much, Mayor and Commissioners. We really appreciate the proclamation and recognizing us. You know, you have a very large group of finance professionals throughout the county. We have people in all of our departments. I always tell my budget analysts when they start, you are budget analysts today, you may be the county administrator tomorrow. So, you know, there's a lot of potential with us in here. And I know everybody works really hard to do the very best and give you the most accurate information. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I just wanted to recognize, due to the proclamation and the FGFOA, we actually have in the clerk's office the immediate past statewide president, Shannon Ramsey Chessman, and the incoming president, Nicole Gaspari, here at the office, who worked so hard to campaign to lead that incredible organization. I just wanted to thank you, Madam Mayor, for the incredible proclamation. Appreciate it.
right, come this way, turn around. Come on in. Like you like each other. Well, that concludes our special presentations. If anybody is here and would like to leave at this time because you saw your presentation, you're more than welcome to exit. We are going to actually start the regular agenda now, and we're going to start with public hearings. So on the table now is 5A1. This is the Public Safety Department.
Mayor?
Yes?
There's a motion to receive and file the proof of publication.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, thank you very much. We have a motion to receive and file by Commissioner Weiss. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See that the motion carries 6-0. Okay. So we are on 5A1. Does anyone need a presentation? This is about the issuance of a special secondary service provider certificate to universal protection. Okay, I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Woodward. Second. I have a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed? See that that motion carries 6-0. Okay, we are now on to Palm Tran. Item 5B1. Would anybody like a presentation? Seeing no requests for a presentation?
Mayor, I'll go ahead and move item 5B1, A, B, C, and D.
Second.
I have a motion a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? See that the motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the second for the record?
All right. We are now on item 5C1, Office of Financial Management and Budget. This is the mid-year amendments. And thank you. We'll have a presentation.
Good morning. Good morning. Sherry Brown, Director of OFMB. I'm joined at the table with Lisa Master, our Budget Director, and David Behar from the County Attorney's Office. We just did a couple of slides really quickly. Just wanted to explain the mid-year amendments that we're doing on this item. So during the budget process, we include what our estimated fund balance or balance brought forward will be. So during the preparation of the 25 budget, our estimate was $502 million. We've already budgeted a grant carry forward of $630, so our current fund balance is $501 million. There are several amendments included in this item to bring what we estimated to what the actual numbers are. So our BCC departments underestimated their expenses by about $18 million. Constitutional officers was about $22 million. General government, 2.9. Our financially assisted agencies, about 1.1. Our ad valorem taxes were about 4.8 over estimates. Our major revenues were underestimated about 20 million. And our interest is at 455,000. And then some other miscellaneous to make the total balance brought forward adjustment $30.5 million. So that brings our actual fund balance to $532 million. You know I love numbers. You know I love a spreadsheet. So we wanted to go through and just kind of go through. This is kind of the same format that you typically see when we talk about our 5-year adjustments. So we have our revenues at the top with our actual from 23, what our adopted 24 budget was, and what our 24 estimates are, and then our 24 actuals. And so that's what this does, is bring our estimates to equal the actuals and amend the 25 budget. So we wanted to kind of highlight so that you can see when we estimated for 24, we estimated our fund balance to be 502, which is what gets carried forward into our adopted budget. And then as the actual numbers and the audits almost completed and things like that, we realized that our actual fund balance is $532 million. So we're bringing that forward to do as an amendment today so that we balance from that standpoint. You know, and all these modifications are always brought back to the board. You adopt the budget and we bring any modifications back to you. We talked a little bit about interest last time, and we're working on a joint presentation with our clerk that we'll come to later. But just overall, our estimates for interest earnings for all funds was $188.5 million. The actual was about $220 million. And so this item also will take care of making those estimates equal for all the other funds. What I previously presented was just for the general fund, since it's our biggest portion. And then, of course, part of our item today for our balance brought forward of the $30 million, $25 million will go to the sheriff for the POTUS protection that we've discussed in the past. That is a direct hit to fund balance. So we just wanted to kind of show, we've seen this before as far as what our history of fund balance looks like. We're currently around about 30% of fund balance to revenues, but with the $45 million hit, it kind of drops us to 25%. Our hope is that we will get the money back from the feds at some point, and that will replenish our fund balance. And that kind of concludes it for me.
Clerk Abruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Brown, just one correction, because it's not $220 million. We're returning to $230 million, so $10 million more.
I think the difference is that you also do interest earnings for other agencies, but this is what's been recorded in our general ledger. So I think when you talk about the $230 million, that includes some of the other agencies outside of the BCC area.
I don't believe, yeah, okay.
Yeah, correct, Felicia? Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Vice Mayor Baxter, then Commissioner Powell, then Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you for the presentation. Chair, I am curious of the money and its allocation in the summary. Who decided which money was put where?
As far as the estimates, or
no, just where it all went?
They're cleanup items. As far as, the $25 million was already discussed and approved by the board. In this item, we're also asking for $2.5 million to cover a shortfall in Airport Center. The $750,000 worth of adjustments through departments, they're very minor and miscellaneous. One of them is we never know what the commissioner's salaries are when we adopt the budget. And so we always do the cleanup to what the state approves for your salaries. Then we had like the salary adjustments for commission staff at the end of September that didn't get into the budget. So we're kind of cleaning up those things that we know about. So, and then the balance goes into reserves.
I guess maybe I should try to ask it another way. I mean, were options ever presented to us where we would like to see it go, or is it just presented, here you go, approve this?
Well, we're doing it because we know there's a shortfall in different areas, and so we're presenting it here now. Yeah. So this would be your chance to approve it or not.
So do we actually have an option?
You do.
But we were never given any? Well, the problem is, I mean, there's not options. My point I'm trying to get at is there's not really options in front of us. It's like, okay, this is where we've decided that the best place for it to go is this is where the shortfalls are. But I mean, unless there were other options presented. It's saying, here you go, please approve this. And obviously, I'm going to vote to approve this today. I would just like in the future, if we have these overages or something, a meeting that says, hey, this
Right.
is how much we're over, and here's your options, prior to it getting to the point of in front of us in a meeting and then going, okay, just sign off, here you go.
So, yeah, and I know last year we had we had met with some of our capital shortfalls and had decided in advance to use our fund balance, but since we've already met and said that we would use it for the sheriff, that's the biggest chunk of it, is the 25 million, and the other items are kind of minor.
I wouldn't say that roughly $6 million is a minor amount if you asked anyone. That's still a large amount, maybe not in the overall big picture, but that's a lot of money. So, and I get your point, but I'm just asking respectfully in the future that options be presented, not just, here you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Administrator Baker.
We have no issue with that. We'll bring that back to the board. Again, I think when we discuss the sheriff's shortfall because of security for POTUS, we took $20 million out of the general fund contingency, and we at that point recommended that when we do the mid-year adjustment, that we take the other. We did 20 out of general fund, 25 million out of the reserve. The board told us to move forward with that. The other is just normal accounting type cleanups because we don't close books with deficits. And so that is why some of the other minor adjustment was made. The rest of it was put into reserves, so when we bring it to you, you can say, no, don't want it in reserves, this is where I want you to put it.
Is that coming back to us?
When we bring the item back to you, because we got to have some, you'll need to know what the amount is that you're going to be looking to allocate, and that is what we're bringing back to you. So you can then say, I don't want it in reserves, or we can just leave it without putting it in reserves, and then you can tell us where you want to allocate the funding, the additional funding.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the $25 million from the, I think it was coming from the general fund, so people have questioned me and emailed me with regard to the first 20 million and now this 25 million. Can you restate where the 20 million originally came from and now where the $25 million will come from? Because I know this, I know there's what is this, 3.7 million is the general fund contingency reserves that a portion of it being put back to, for the presidential protection back this year. But where's the $25 million that is coming from that will bring the total to 45 million?
Right, so this agenda item is taking our estimates and making it equal to the actual. So we would have an additional $30 million. So in the past, we would maybe just put this whole $30 million, other than like if there were some minor cleanup type things, back into contingency, which is like your fund balance or our rainy day fund is what we've, kind of call it too. So that original 20 million was out of our contingency, and now this additional 25 million would have been part of fund balance, but we're giving it over to the sheriff for that. So it's part of our rainy day fund. We use a lot of names for really the same thing, contingency reserves and fund balance, so.
Thank you. Follow up?
Sure.
Mayor, what does that leave for our rainy day fund in terms of $25 million coming out of this pot, 20
Right.
million came out of the other pot.
Right.
And the taxpayers are, of course, supplementing that. So where does that leave us at?
So it still leaves us with a fund balance of 532 million. And so that's where it's about 25% of our revenues. We would like to see it closer to 30 to 35% of our revenues, because that's what other AAA counties throughout the state of Florida are averaging. And we expect, my hope is that we're going to get it back from the feds. And when we get it back from the feds, we would put it back into fund balance. I think the board has talked about wanting to try to maintain our reserves as much as possible.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And I don't expect the funds soon. You know, it usually would take a year or so before we would see those back from the feds.
Okay, and I was asking that question as I've gotten a lot of emails and calls, and even people have stopped me in the grocery store and said, you know, this is a lot of money that the county and that the citizens are paying for in terms of, you know, the amount needed for presidential protection, and just want to make sure people understand where that's coming from and where that's at with us in the county. And Madam Mayor,
Sure.
in terms of Commissioner Baxter's request, would that be a new process that we would create in terms of seeing things to decide or vote, or is that something that?
Well, I think the budget process is an ongoing, everyday process.
Okay.
So administration brings us adjustments all the time. And again, historically, this is what we've done every year about this time, where we've done these adjustments. And this is their job. They're the finance professionals. They know where the money needs to go to make sure that we are a balanced budget. And so that's the position that they're in today, and that's what they're presenting us with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Clerk Abruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To reiterate, Madam Mayor, with your indulgence, we will be coming to present to you in April all the different funds, all where the funds we have earned that interest, and how that interest could potentially supplement the original budget item and what's going into reserves and other places, to give a greater picture of what your powers actually are and our estimation of what can be held for the commission to appropriate to other measures if you choose to see fit in April.
I appreciate that. But having said that, whatever interest you have that's generated has to be applied to the fund that generated that interest, correct?
No, Madam Mayor, what I'm, to be precise, and I'll give a quick example, there are funds that it is your power that you can move those money. It does not have to stay in those funds, technically. And let's say you had a projection of $1 million budgeted for that fund. We earn that fund, let's say an extra $200,000, but you're still budgeting $1 million for that fund. You could actually budget $800,000 for that fund and then have an extra $200,000 per that particular fund to do as you see fit. We want to show you every single fund that you have and where you actually have the power to move that money. So we have it's not an easy task for our staff. It will be ready in April, and we will make that presentation.
Thank you. And I'm sure you'll work with Sherry to make sure all the numbers are where they're supposed to be.
And we realize that too, and we already do transfer some of those interests back into the general fund if the general fund is the fund holder, like in capital project funds and special revenues, and that's normal part of our budget.
Okay, well, we look forward to that presentation. Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could, just to address what you were just bringing up, I would be cautious in us budgeting for potential interest. I'm more comfortable with having a mid-year cleanup that we can, take the money that actually did happen. If there's shortfalls or if there's, increased revenue, however all of this has happened, I'm more comfortable with that just because the world is in a certain place. And you've done a phenomenal job with all of the investments, but I would not want us to budget with projections of interest and investments without having the hard money. Just on a personal, that's my.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The 230 overall, 220 in your pref view, that is money that's actually earned. So that is not a projection. That is actual money that we have earned for you from an audited financial. So
I was referring to your April presentation where you're going to bring us what the projections for the following year for us to take that into account for the next year's budget. Is that not what you were referring to?
Madam Mayor? No, Commissioner. That's based on what we already have that we know you can use for this upcoming year. And we're going to set an example for it.
Okay. Well, Is that not currently part of our process, or is this
That
a
is-
new?
That is part of our process. So when those revenues come in, as Sherry explained, it comes to the bottom line, along with all of the other revenues we did not expend, we budgeted but maybe did not expend, and that makes up our fund balance. So we do account for it, we roll it into the next year, that's how we build our budget. We are conservative when it comes to estimating how much interest we're going to get, because we don't want to overestimate the interest as well as the other funding source. The interest don't come in, then we've got to reduce our budgets. So we always budget for interest. We made a lot more in the last year than we normally do. So that interest went to the bottom line, and that is what we're looking at. It helped make up the amount we're now putting into your general fund, the $3.7 million.
And part of our budget process, I'll just add to it. So right now, our departments are out looking to build their 2026 budget. They have a due date next week to turn it into OFMB so we can start reviewing it. And part of the 2026 budget is for us to look at the current year, 2025, and estimate how much are revenues coming in and how much are we going to spend to come up to find that fund balance that we think will drop, that we carry forward into the 2026. So we go ahead and estimate and carry it into the 2026 budget. And that will be the basis. And then a year from today, I'll be right back here at this table doing a mid-year cleanup, to clean up for the actual 25 to our estimates. So, and that's what we're doing today, is just trying to say, we know what we've earned in the last year, the $220 million of interest earnings, plus the other $9 billion throughout all the funds. And we're just cleaning it up to make sure for whatever we estimated a year ago is now equal to the actuals.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure
Right.
that what we were talking about was actual dollars and not projections moving forward.
Right.
And this is the mid-year cleanup
Right.
and this is, every year we do this.
Right.
And to address Vice Mayor Baxter's concern, I do agree. I would like to know what our options are, but I think this year we were hit with some unexpected
Right.
expenditures.
Right.
With, for the sheriff and a few shortfalls and rebuilding the contingency. So I'm good with all of this, and hopefully we don't have these same things that are happening next year. But if we do, it is important that we cover the shortfalls if we had to take our contingency. I'm happy with what you've chosen. I think I agree. I wish we didn't have to have the shortfalls or rebuild the contingency fund. And my question with you yesterday, just so that the public is aware, this that we're talking about, this is part of our general fund. This
Right.
is the unrestricted funds, because a lot of our, over 70% of our budget is restricted, right?
Correct.
So this is part of the money that we have flexibility to put into different places.
Correct.
And then there's a separate cleanup that would go into any restricted funds. If it's like a water utilities or anything like that, stays within.
It stays within those funds.
Okay,
Right.
this is just general fund. And the general fund, most of that's funded by ad valorem, that's property taxes, right? So
Right.
this is a very good thing that
Right.
if we're getting cleanup that goes into general fund, that's property taxes.
And the agenda item includes all the other funds, but it's the general fund that you have the most control over and the most flexibility with. So that's the reason why we highlight it more, because the others don't always have that flexibility with it.
And because I am very optimistic that the federal government will reimburse us for this coverage, when that money comes back, it would be general fund money that
Correct.
we could, at this point, maybe we have better options in the future when we get the reimbursements, because it's probably going to be in a future fiscal year before that
Right.
happens.
And, you guys have talked about that infrastructure is also a big priority, and we thought it was great that we used so much of it last year for it. Just unfortunately that 25 million went to the sheriffs with the things, but we hope that we get that money back, and in the future years, we would be able to fund, use some of this for capital and different things too.
Thank you. And just as Commissioner Powell, because people do ask, it's important for them to understand what general fund means.
Right.
We have flexibility versus there's a lot of restrictive funds that it's tied to the airport or it's tied to water utilities or whatever. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Paul, did you want to add something?
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. Paul Guzensky, Manager of Finance, Financial Reporting. And I think a lot of your questions that have been asked will be answered in the April meeting that we are hosting along with Sherry. It kind of has the timeline for interest earnings, estimates, actual funds that are earned, and what budget year you can really do something with those. So,
Could I just clarify, though? What we're doing today, though, is mid-year cleanup. It has nothing to do with interest or investments or anything, right? This is just
Interest is just another revenue line.
part of what we're voting on today?
Well, it's just cleaning up that our estimates, so it's for all revenues and things. So, right.
Yes, it is interest. It's the interest actually earned. We estimate what interest is going to be budgeted. We do that. At mid-year, when the audits are completed, we then identify the actual interest earned. We then allocate that or go through the process, and that's what we're bringing back to you today.
So this has nothing to do with certain departments didn't spend what was in their budget, or there
It's
were...
both.
It does.
It's both. Yeah, it's everything.
And what
Can you
else
go
is
back
part of
to
this,
the,
please?
The summary, the general fund summary? So it kind of breezed over it maybe a little too quickly. So if you look at the 2024 estimate column, so for something like property taxes, we estimated we would get 1.249. Our actual was 1.253. And then you can go through all the others, like intergovernmental. We estimated at the time, you know, we only have so many months in when we do the estimate. So we estimated that we would probably collect about 281 million, but we only actually collected 275. So we were a little aggressive with it, and we were a little surprised that we didn't quite get as much in our half-cent sales tax as we thought we would get, and it's one of our general fund revenues that we get from the state. So you can go through the whole thing to see where our estimates were plus or minus, and we were pretty close on some things and not on others. And then same thing with our constitutional offices and our BCC departments and some of those others. So that difference brings you down to the 532. So we were, you know, we picked up an additional $30 million between our estimates and what the final actuals is.
But just to be clear, part of this, because people do ask us whenever, if we're budgeted, one department has a budget for 150 employees and they're actually short-staffed by 50.
Right.
That money that doesn't pay an employee comes back into this.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So there's other.
Right.
It's not revenue, it's just it didn't get spent.
Correct.
And so even though we budget for a certain amount of dollars, we don't spend all of that. And when we don't spend it, it comes back into this fund.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bertina, your light is still on.
No.
Okay. Commissioner Flores, then Commissioner Baxter.
All right, so I have a few questions, so bear with me here. My first one is regarding the 2.5 million in capital expenses for the airport center. Are we using unrestricted funds to offset that? Because usually, the way I understood it is airport, you know, they have their own
Yeah, it's not the
restricted
actual
funds.
airport building. We call it Airport Center. It's over in that general vicinity, and so it's a general government building, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a...
It's not an airport asset.
Okay, thank you. All right, when we're talking about projections for future years of interest, I like to be safe and not over-project. I like to under-project and get a nice little surprise halfway through the year, sort of like what we're doing today.
And you'll love
So I
Lisa.
think that's what Commissioner Woodward was sort of
Lisa's your girl.
saying.
because she's
So let's continue to keep that practice, because I don't ever want to have a shortfall of $10, $20 million because we over-projected.
And we work with the clerk's office. We ask their staff, what should we use as far as an interest rate? And they usually give us a range.
If
and
I
we
can
try
ask
to
my
go-
fellow commissioners to please keep the comments down, because I'm losing track of who am I listening to, a fellow commissioner or you? So please.
Apologize, yep. So, you know, we work with the clerk's office. We ask them for an interest rate that we should be using for our projections. They usually give us a range, and we usually go on the low end of that range.
Yeah, that's
projections.
I think I would feel safer that way, so that we get a pleasant surprise halfway through the year.
Yep, us too.
Rather than, you know, get a scare. Regarding the precedence protection, and I want to sort of echo Commissioner Powell's comments, I have been receiving some concerns about that, specifically because it has been in the news. I think the Post has written about it a couple of times now, and a lot of people are asking me, why is it that the county is carrying that burden rather than the rest of the country. It's hard to explain, especially because right now, the way that our federal government is sort of working, I happened to be up there for about 2 weeks ago, and it's not a slam dunk that we're going to receive the $45 million, and I'm pretty sure that our Todd Van Leeuwen can speak a little bit more about that specifically. But what they're looking to do is possibly continue a resolution to keep the last year's budget, and there's no money in that budget for presidential protection. So we're fighting really hard, and Todd's leading this charge to add it into this year's budget. So we may very well be not receiving that money back. So I just want to sort of set that expectation that we were working diligently up there, but where we stand today, there is no one clear direction that this is going to happen.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that, and I'll let Todd speak a little bit more about that, because I think the commission should know, and I'm pretty sure you already had conversations with them.
And if I can just add before you start, Todd, I'm sorry, but by using fund balance, we're using one-time money for something that could be an ongoing expense over the next 4 years. So if we don't get reimbursed, then now we're probably going to have to build at least another $30-40 million into the sheriff's budget just for this type of thing. So that's what's going first out of the budget before we budget for everything else that we do on the BCC side.
Madam Mayor, if I might, I can just get you up to speed a little bit so that everybody sort of has as much information as I do in terms of where we are on this on the reimbursement costs. So first off, we've been working very closely with the Sheriff's Office, and to Commissioner Flores's request of, why are we engaged in this and why do we provide this support? And historically, local governments where a president has been traveling or goes to, at the request of the federal government, and in this case, we've been asked by the federal government, and we have stepped up and have provided that local protection that we provide. We've been doing it here locally for quite some time. In 2017, when President Trump was first elected, we did that as well. We did in 2017 create a program called the Presidential Non-Residential or Non-Government Residential Protection Program. And that program was funded the first 4 years at about $41 million a year. We worked with New York City to create that program. It was the first of its kind in the country that ever reimbursed a local government for that protection. Last week or 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., we spent a number of hours working with our congressional delegation. We spent a number of hours in meetings in the White House with the Director of Legislative Affairs, with the Director of OFMB for Department of Homeland Security, and we feel very good about sort of their support for what we want to do, but there's a couple of complicated pieces of this that are sort of making it a little more difficult. One is the current state that we're in Congress right now with a continuing resolution. And the one thing that we have to do with that program, because it wasn't funded the last 2 years under the Biden administration, we actually have to reauthorize that program in an appropriation bill or a bill. And so the CR, that continuing resolution that was handed down by the Speaker of the House this past weekend, we had been working with appropriators to try to reauthorize that program in there. And we were not able to do it yet, partly because most of the additional funding that they have in there is what's called anomaly funding. And anomaly funding are sort of one-offs, but don't require reauthorizations. They're for authorized programs already. And so there was not a lot of space or room for that. So the language that we've redrafted is in the hand of appropriators, both in the House and the Senate. It's in the hand of our congressional delegation. The White House OMB office has the language as well, and we're working through it. But keep in mind, this is a FEMA program, and the reason why it's in FEMA is because they have reimbursement mechanisms in FEMA that allow us to go through that reimbursement process. A lot of Homeland Security divisions don't have that, and the way that that works is on a reimbursable basis. So we're talking about a year in the arrears that we have sought reimbursement previously when we have had this program in place. So the other complicated piece of it is some of this security we did was in a previous fiscal year. Congress, much like other boards, don't like to go back and reallocate dollars for previous fiscal years. The language we have submitted takes it back to July 20th of last year. So that's where we are at today. We had conversations with our lobby team every day over the weekend, this week so far, and we'll continue to keep you updated. But thank you for asking for some of the clarification, and that's where we are currently today on that funding. Okay?
So, as you heard, there's still a lot of work to be done, and if you have some pull in Washington, we could definitely use your help. And I think right now we're paying our fair share, and we're doing what we have to protect our president. Unfortunately, I wish that it wasn't only on the Palm Beach County residents to pay for that protection, and hopefully Todd will get us across the finish line on this so that we can get that money back. And then my last point is regarding decision making in regards to the budget. So we would have had 20 million in contingency reserves. We found another 30 million. It would have been nice in a normal year. I understand where that money was allocated for the protection, but moving forward, it would be nice to come to the board before you bring us the decision to just say yay or nay, but you say, hey, commissioners, we have $30 million. What are your priorities? What is it that you want to get across the finish line over the next 6 months before the year ends? And by the way, we also have 20 million in contingency reserves. So that's a process that I would like to see worked out. I think I heard some of my fellow commissioners sort of like that idea. That way we can prioritize things as we're coming into the end of the year. And if we choose to put it into our reserves, we made that decision. But it should come before us. I know there are some items here that are purely cleanup, and those should be taken care of. If there's a deficit in another department, we take care of that first, but then whatever's remaining, you give us the ability to make that decision. So I echo Commissioner Baxter's and I believe Woodward. So thank you, that concludes my comments.
All right, I have no more lights on. I'd like to thank staff for their... Oh, you turned your light off. Oh, sorry. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Hi. So just clarifying some things. I was looking at this summary up here. You had said we had already budgeted for the interest that we received from the clerk?
Correct.
The
So what
interest earned. So which line is that?
If you look second before the subtotal, so for the 2024 adopted budget, we had budgeted 18 million, but during the process, we estimated 31 million. So that 31 million is what we thought we would collect. And that's how we base down to get the $502 million that we budgeted as our carry forward. And we actually got $31.4 million. And so this item is recognizing that we collected additional $455,000.
So, but isn't the 220 million, am I misunderstanding, wasn't all of that interest?
But that's in all funds. It's not, this is only the general fund. So if we go forward, we...
Hold on, I got you. So it's spread out throughout different funds, and we're only covering the general fund.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
But to the point of interest earned in any fund can be put into the general fund, and we're currently
Not all of it.
Or some?
But some. So like in your capital project funds, we fund capital out of the general fund, and it gets moved out of the general fund into a capital project fund. Any interest earned there, since it's really general fund dollars, but we're accounting for it as a capital project under generally accepted accounting standards, that can be swept back into the general fund. And that's what we do as part of the budget.
I mean, which funds can be?
So it has to be what we call an ad valorem fund. So like a special revenue fund that gets the funding primarily from the general fund.
Would it be easier to
like
ask all of them
Comtran.
except?
So we have 102 special revenue funds, and
102.
21 of them, which are mostly grant funds, we already sweep back. So
Of 102, we sweep 21?
Right. And then 6 of them, are ad valorem funds where the interest stays there, and then 75 of them are true program-based, so the interest has to stay with those programs.
So the 75 of them, we can't, are not allowed statutorily to take those funds out?
Back
The interest
to-
earned?
Right. Whether it's because of whatever the program is for those different things. Something like our building department, your building permits is a special revenue fund, and they're required to keep those interest earnings to be used for the building activities.
And so you're saying there's 21 we sweep and 6, what were the 6?
There's 6 that the interest stays with them. One of them, I believe, do you have the?
Yeah, there's funds that we fund from the general fund, like Palm Tran. So if we sweep the interest back, then we'll just have to transfer more from the general fund. So we just leave it so that we don't have to transfer as much, if that makes sense. There's 6 funds like that. Palm Tran's one of them. There's a HED fund is one of them. There's an engineering fund. That's one of them. So I'm having a hard time remembering them all, but those are the major ones.
And the dollars that are over and above what we are projected, that's what comes back to us to say, what would you like to do with this?
It's all part of this estimates because it's part of the transfers. So we would transfer less to cover those interests and things.
Thank you. And
so it
Clerk,
nets through the transfers.
Thank you, Sherry. Clerk, so 102 funds, is that about right? That you see, because you really handle the money.
Thank you, Commissioner. In our presentation in April, and I must say to Administrator Baker and Ms. Brown, our offices do need to get together because we might have some slight disagreements on the funds, so we have to put our heads together. We need to get that meeting set between all of us. But we are going to come in April, lay out every fund which we believe you can statutorily move the money, sweep the money for your general fund.
The interest earned on it.
The interest earned, that's correct.
All right, and so not to prolong this even longer, I find it very interesting. I'm looking forward to that presentation, but if you would please, OFMB meet.
Yeah, we've met already twice with their staff, so we can meet again. And
okay, well, thank you. Those are my questions.
Thanks.
Thank you. I do not see any more lights on. Commissioner Weiss?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5C1 A and B.
Second.
So I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Okay, we have finished public hearings. We are now on the regular agenda. We have the administration items first, which I think are going to take a bit of time. I do want to say something here before I make a motion to actually move these items. Let me, there's been a lot in the paper over the last 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. And I want to address a lot of the chatter that has occurred. So as many of you have heard, Virginia Baker, our county administrator, has submitted her retirement notification effective May 31st. She has not resigned. I want to thank Ms. Baker for giving us, from that point forward, 90 days. This gives us time to figure out a way forward into the future. It gives us time to secure an interim administrator, one I hope has experience and needs no on-the-job training. Someone who knows our county, knows how to build a multi-billion-dollar budget, is familiar with all of our cost centers, which are, I don't even know, Sherry, how many cost centers do we have? If we have 1,300 pages of line item budgets, and there's at least one cost center on every page, so we have at least 1,300 cost centers, it's probably closer to 3,000. So familiar with those. This also gives us time to establish the requirements for an ideal candidate. Thank you, Greg. We'll be talking about that when we come to your comments later on in the afternoon. And that candidate's going to take us into the future and hopefully has the tools to hire the appropriate firm to lead us in that national search.
I look forward, as I said, to Commissioner Weiss talking about this during his comments to help us start the process. And I am sure Ms. Baker would agree that Palm Beach County is a special place. We dream big. We set the bar high. We are Wall Street South. We have Vanderbilt. We have a whole lot more coming online. We've managed to embrace the uniqueness of our large, multifaceted county that goes from the ocean to the lake, from 47 miles of coastline, every demographic you could want, we manage that. Whoever that person is that we hire, and thank you, Ms. Baker, for doing this, manage a county with over 35 departments, deliver a balanced budget of over $9 billion, have knowledge to deal with thousands of cost centers and funds, guide over 7,000 employees, oversee airports, not one, but 4, utilities, public safety, emergency management, planning, zoning, and building, billions of dollars in real estate, and a booming tourism economy, and the ability to negotiate with 39 municipalities and countless other taxing districts, to be able to negotiate with the 6 unions that we negotiate with right now, and to follow the 7 strategic priorities as set forth by this Board of County Commissioners. We also need someone with a demonstrated track record in government, administration, and handling complex county issues, who also has the ability and experience to navigate through state and federal regulations and grants. Ms. Baker, you have handled an ever-changing environment without much fanfare. So during the coming months, we will continue the budget process. And you can hear from what we just did, this is an ongoing process. This is a daily, day-to-day process. It's not something that gets built in 1 or 2 or 3 months. I want to thank Ms. Baker for building our future budget on a daily basis. And I know that when you leave here on May 31st, we will have a budget in place for the coming year. And it's not like our budget changes very much from year to year. We have the same departments, we have the same requirements. It's just the amount of money that we spend, and it also depends on the amount of money we collect from our property taxes. No administrator does this in a vacuum, and they are in constant communication with the Board of County Commissioners throughout the year. This career is a delicate dance, and I look forward to the future as we continue to move Palm Beach County forward. But with that, I want to tell everyone, we as a board have not spoken about this one iota. We are not allowed to speak on this with each other due to sunshine. This is our first opportunity to speak in the sunshine about Ms. Virginia Baker's retirement for May 31st. And I, for one, see Ms. Baker continuing here until May 31st. And I know that there are folks in the audience that probably feel the same way, but I wanted to let you know that I'm only one of 7. We have not had an opportunity to speak on this. This is our opportunity. We have lots of work to do today. And we have 2 administration items on our agenda, but I know that we have cards here. The administration items are 6A and 6B, 6A at 1 and 2, which are going to take us time. The rest of what we have will probably go more quickly. We're going to break for lunch at 1 o'clock or a little before then, depending where we are. Come back at 2. We will have matters by the public at 2 o'clock. And if we still have business matters, because we haven't completed it, we will continue that after matters by the public. And I think we probably have some speaking cards on 6, 1, and 2. This is very unusual for us to do this. I'm going to go ahead and take the speaking cards because I believe that you all want to be heard. But if we wait until all of the business is done, it might be 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if you all don't mind, I've got several lights on. Commissioner Flores, your light was first. I have Commissioner Flores, then Commissioner Weiss, and then Commissioner Baxter. So Commissioner Flores, if you'd like to speak, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to read into the record a statement that I prepared. I didn't realize we were going to have this moment right now. So First of all, Virginia, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to you as county administrator for your time, your leadership, your dedication, especially during the challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic. Your decisive actions, compassion, and commitment to the community ensured the safety and well-being of our residents during an unprecedented time. In addition to your exceptional crisis management, Virginia, you have been a true champion of affordable housing, tirelessly advocating for initiatives that provide safe and accessible housing for all. Your dedication, vision, and unwavering commitments have made a lasting impact on our county, and we are incredibly fortunate to have had you as a remarkable leader at the home for over 30, close to 40 years. I just want to say thank you on behalf of this board, my community, my district, for your leadership and truly being a champion of our people. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So I guess first I want to address the elephant in the room, and that is my phone was blowing up over the weekend, emails coming in that somehow we were going to be removing our county administrator, Virginia Baker. I don't know where that came from, and really at this point it doesn't matter, but that would not have been something I would have ever supported. I think that it's the fact of the outpouring of people who stood up and also knew that something like that would be the wrong thing to do for no justification. It says a lot about our community. So I want to thank you for being here. Mayor, I want to thank you for allowing the folks that want to speak the opportunity. They've waited a long time. Virginia, I can't apologize to you enough on what has happened. The kind words that my colleague just spoke, but no human being should have to endure that kind of talk. It's just wrong. Just wrong. You and your family have given so much to Palm Beach County. Each and every day you're out there taking time away from your own people that also need you to give it to all of us. So I want to thank you for your years of service. I am going to miss your counsel. We'll take care of this later, but I wanted to speak to the public and let you know how disappointed I was that whoever started those vicious rumors, they're going to have to deal with the consequences of what they've done at some point by the Lord Almighty. Thank you for being here. I love Palm Beach County. I love you all.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have to agree with Commissioner Weiss. I think rumors are terrible for anyone. And when things get spread and misinformation is bad, it's never good. So again, I don't think I personally never would have fired our administrator or made a resignation especially after somebody had already given a date of retirement. I think that's atrocious. Like she said, you said you're retiring. That makes no sense. So I'd really like to know where those rumors started. I'd really like to know where they came from and why it was even out there. because that is what is terrible right now. I would like somebody to look into that, because we never up here discussed it. We've never said we were going to do it, but yet I think everyone had heard the rumors at some point. So again, apologize for those rumors, but there was never even talk in my head or mind or consider, like, we weren't firing anyone. There was a date set of retirement. It would make no sense. That doesn't logically make any sense. So why would we? I will say that I want to know who started those rumors, because that is awful. So I think, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you're doing. It's no secret that we don't always agree on everything. But that doesn't mean what was started was just malicious. And I think if anyone knows, I'm a strong personality, but I'm not malicious. So I do not know why anyone, I really feel terrible for what the people have said. So I am sorry, Virginia, for what may have been started, but I would like someone to find out. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for going ahead and having us discuss this now. I think, I just for myself, I appreciate it. I think there's a lot of people in this room that appreciate it. It's kind of been 10 days of having an elephant sitting on my chest since we were informed, and I don't know what the rest of you have experienced, but it's been rough. And we were in Tallahassee together, and there's been phone calls, and every person that I met, there's a lot of stuff that's said. And because of Sunshine, this is our first opportunity to hear from each other, from each other. We can be told things, but until we hear it from each other, we don't actually know. And I'm very, very happy to hear from my fellow commissioners today, starting with the mayor on this. My first thought from the beginning when we received your notice of retirement was, okay, we have till May 31st. And I had a discussion with the administrator about the budget, assuring me that that was going to be one of your focuses, to make sure you were able to deliver us that on time. And as you can see with the discussion, it is an ongoing process and something we're always working on. And thank you for that. And thank you for giving us notice. I think that this county, Palm Beach County is no joke. And whatever comes out of this and our process, and who comes to replace your sparkly shoes, it's some big shoes to fill, but we're a great place. And I'm very happy to hear from my fellow commissioners, and that what I was losing sleep over the past several nights, that what may happen, I'm sure that's why there's so many in this room. I am relieved, and I'm happy to accept I'm not happy to accept your retirement, but I'm very happy to keep you until we can on May 31st. And then I hope we can give you a bon voyage off into a good retirement, but come back and visit us, please. I will have something more eloquent to say to you at a later date. But at this point, I'm feeling a little bit of a weight lifted, and I think there's a lot of people in this room that feel the same way. So thank you to my fellow commissioners. We've kind of been through the ringer for the past, all of us have with this. And again, because of Sunshine, this is one of the more difficult parts of this process, that we cannot talk to each other. And I thank you all for what you've said, and I look forward to keeping you and us getting back to business. We have a lot of business to get to, so thank you.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And like many of my commissioners, there's been no conversation with regard to the termination of Administrator Baker. Unlike most of my commissioners, I can look in this room, and in this audience, I can walk through and I can tell you the name of just about everybody sitting on every single row. And the difference is, I stepped outside the room for just a moment, and someone said to me, "Bobby, where have you been? We haven't heard from you." So first of all, yesterday I was at Bishop Granger's church because it was his 39th pastor anniversary. Bishop Granger, thank you. Saturday I was helping my father fix his cable. And I took Chandler to the park just in case, so I wasn't hiding. But I did get your phone calls. I got your text messages, I got your emails. And it's unusual for me to not return everybody's phone call and text message and email. However, do recognize that anything that I would have said would have come out as, well, Bobby Powell said, so I took what he said, and you know how it goes from one person to the next. By the time it got here, it would have been a whole new story. But like most people, I heard the rumor about the firing of Administrator Baker. I've heard all kinds of rumors, but because I could not substantiate anything other than to say, I don't know, when I don't have information, it's very difficult to talk about something I don't have. However, rest assured, if there is information to be presented and you all call me, we will have a town hall, we'll have a public meeting. If I have to jump on Zoom, we will do Zoom. We will do what we have to do to make sure that the information is available, I'm transparent, I'm visible, and I tell you what I know. Because we operate in the sunshine and I did not have information to give, I could not tell you something that I don't know. The answer would have been, well, I don't know, I haven't heard it. I'm not sure, I heard a rumor too. But what I can tell you is that I'm thankful that our mayor is allowing people to speak because people are passionate. I come from a community of passion. When I say a life of service is a life that counts, I come from a community where when people think you're in trouble, guess what? They don't just talk about it, they show up. And people didn't know the answer. They don't know. So guess what? People showed up. And y'all are here. So I'm thankful, Mayor, that you explained what's going on today, but I'm also, I make no bones about it, I'm thankful to the community for showing up. We have in the audience former elected officials, former Miami-Dade County Commissioner, Dr. Barbara Carey Schuler, former county commissioner who I stand in the stead of now, Addie Green, county commissioner. I saw former state representative Hank Harper. I've seen pastors. Paulette Burdick is here somewhere. Former county commissioner. Former Commissioner McKinley. Community leaders, we've got union leaders, we've got pastors. I showed you Bishop Granger's here. The people are here. And because of that, I'm thankful that you spoke up because people need answers. And the only place they can get answers from is this board. And I wanted to make sure that, trust me, y'all, if there's something to be said, Pastor A.J. Wright's here, Bishop Wright, Bishop Dame, Pastor Dames is here. If there's something to be said, I will let you know. Trust me when I tell you. But if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to mislead you. So we'll leave this meeting today and thankful that everybody's here. But what's also I'm thankful about is ain't nobody gonna say Bobby Powell said. I'm just saying. So thank y'all and thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Commissioner
And when it comes to Administrator Baker, I've got a lot to say, but because we've got time, and today is not the day, I'll save my comments about the administrator for a future date. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sachs.
Senator, that was so beautiful. I just want to say a few words and we'll close it up. I told Ms. Baker that I am not accepting her retirement. I told her. And as I told her, I was hugging her and I told her in her ear. And she whispered in mine, Maria, she said, I got time with my family, my husband Joe, and my kids. Now, there are a number of women in this audience And there aren't many women in positions of power and leadership in our country today. But Miss Virginia Baker is. I said to her, I said, we in the public and your commissioners have to respect your judgment of wanting to be more at home. We have to respect that. We can't make her feel guilty. We can't make her feel angry or sorry. We need to respect that. And I said to her, there's a young woman out there right now who's watching this and watching you. You've given your life, you've given your time, you've given your talent to helping all the people. And now all the people have shown up for you to let you know, yes, if you think that this is time, then we need to respect, admire you, and watch how it's done. And I say this to every young woman and girl who's thinking about running for office. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it with pride and leadership, and know that your family is there waiting for you the day you come home. And I just feel very strongly about this. And I will find out who started that, because that is a sign of disrespect. As a sign of disrespect. And we need to be together, all of us together, as one family, as one team, PBC. This wonderful, wonderful leader that we have has taken us all the way to the top, and we're going to continue there as long as she's not going anywhere. She's just taking that next step over there, take it with her family. We love you, we admire you, and we respect you. Ms. Virginia Baker, thank you.
Clerk Abruzzo, I believe you wanted to say something.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In all due respect to Commissioner Weiss, I think it does matter whoever started this rumor. I concur with Commissioner Sachs and Commissioner Baxter. Somebody tried to divide our community. Somebody tried to cut deep into our community. And however it came about, there needs to be some form of investigation, some form of audit of what occurred, of finding out who this horrendous individual or individuals were. To have this happen, Administrator Baker, as you are having a self-chosen retirement to go off and have an incredible rest of your life, I cannot personally apologize enough just from reading, watching, looking, but especially to the commissioners. I have had the fortune to see some of them, speak to them, and how they were appalled starting late Friday through the weekend. The stress that got put on by whoever did this, it is truly a travesty, and it's a shame that we are having to make these comments. But whoever did this, whoever tried to drive the divide in our community, they need to come forward or they need to be found. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome, Clerk Abruzzo. We have several cards, and I would love to have the public come and speak. Remember, this is not Virginia's last day. That'll be May 31st. She will be here. She will help us build our budget for next year. Again, that's something we do on an ongoing basis. Every day, any administrator going forward is going to do that. So, Commissioner Woodward, would you like to call some names? We normally give everybody 3 minutes. It doesn't mean you have to take all 3, because it is closing in on the lunch hour, but we will listen. We're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 10 cards. Deborah Robinson, Alina Alonso, Rose Alteria, Michelle Brown. We have 2 microphones. You can come
Yes,
forward.
come to either podium. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Deborah Robinson. I'm going to speak to the evaluation instrument, but I just have to start off by saying y'all are a mess. So, no, listen to me. So we get this sunshine law, and y'all don't speak to each other directly. We also get that you have AIDS. You know, many of us have been in this space many times before. We know how it rolls, okay? There's also a saying in my community about hit dog will bark. Okay, now let me go on to the agenda item. So I would say that, to me, honestly, it looks like a good instrument, the instrument to evaluate the county administrator. It is suspicious to me that you want to evaluate the county administrator when it's not part of her contract to have an annual evaluation, but hopefully you will embed that in the contract for the next county administrator. My evaluation of Ms. Virginia Baker as county administrator is all 5s, but I want to highlight 2 in particular. Professional skills and ethics. She's exemplary. Take note. Citizens relations. Exemplary. Take note. I am here, and I suspect many of us are here because we did hear the rumor. And Mr. Abruzzo, I didn't start it, but I damn sure spread it because it's an affront to all of us. And I personally think it was more than a rumor. And I am here to say, I hear all your comments. I'm glad you said all those wonderful things. You treat her with the respect that she deserves. I've watched from a distance. She's dealt with the conniving and backstabbing from the commission, not all of you, some of you, right? And leave her to do the work that she can do in her remaining time. But some of you, we know, had promises to fulfill, promises to the few. I'm asking you to focus on the needs of this diverse community and not just the few that you view to be in power. The diversity of Palm Beach County must be included in the selection process for the next county administrator, and maybe you want to make sure that the annual evaluation is part of that contract as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Alonso.
My name's Dr. Alina Alonso. Maybe some of you remember me from the meetings that we had here during COVID, as I was the director of the health department.
It's nice to actually see your face without a mask.
And the words I was going to say, Virginia, were not going to be for you. They were going to be for the commission and for the public. I think the public has heard some much better words than what I could have thought of here in just a few minutes. But the fact that you have led the life that you have led, and the 37 years of constant dedication to every single person that lives in this county, was something that I admire and that I learned from you. So I'll have a chance to actually give you the right type of send-off when your retirement. I hope somebody invites me to your retirement. But at any rate, I'm very happy to just have to tell you how much I admire you and how much I learned from you, especially from the 9 years that you led as the county administrator. You were my commander-in-chief all during COVID. Thank God, we would have never made it without you, and I mean that. You were our rock. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I know you do too. Have a great retirement, and come see me, because I'm retired and it's the best thing ever.
Okay. I had called Rose Alteria and Michelle Brown. We also have Mary Brasham, sorry, and Ramsey Altria. Oh, Ramsey Altria and Rose, if you're here. We also have Alfred Fields.
Just everyone come on up. If you have to, this way we know you're here, and this way we can hear your comments.
Chuck Ridley, Lori George, and Barbara Carey Snyder. I'm sorry, Schuler. I need to get my glasses.
I'm Michelle Brown. I'm also the power of attorney for my parents, Rose Altiria and Ramsey Altiria. So I'll be speaking for all three of us. Thank you for your service over all of this time. I'm hoping that before you retire, you can look into a situation that my family and I have been going through for the last 5 or 6 years regarding the county encroaching the back of our property, regarding the gentrification of my neighborhood, and which during that process, somehow, boundaries, easements, and surveys have not been passed on to the new owners appropriately. It has caused us a lot of grief. It has caused us a lot of pain. And it has cost us now financial responsibilities that we should not be responsible for. I'd like to present this to the Board of County Commissioners. It is, maybe I can give it to you, Mrs. Baker. It's a book about the history of Jupiter, in particular the history of the Pennock Point area, which goes back to the Spanish-American War and the first settlers in that neighborhood. Additionally, it involved the gentrification at that time of Indians, Native Americans that were displaced from their homes. It seems like the same thing is happening again 200 years later, that the government's coming in and pushing out the people who live there, destroying their properties. I have happened to have lived for the last 30 years on a wonderful parcel of land in the middle of Pennock Point, adjacent to a road called Old Fort Jupiter, where the military came in and wiped out the Native Americans that lived there and pushed them off and made their little establishment. Y'all were nice enough to make a park out west of town, Riverbend Park it's called, which commemorates the neighborhood, the area, and the history. However, you've had no consideration for the actual area.
Thank you.
Where these things took place.
Thank you, Michelle.
I have
this
6
is not,
minutes.
No, you do not have 6 minutes. I'm sorry. And this was, you're not speaking on the agenda item. I was kind enough to let you speak, but that you're not speaking on the agenda item.
Well, I'm hoping Mrs. Baker will be able to...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we get to the point?
No, you'll have a conversation with Ms. Baker, but your comments are over for now because everyone here also has just 3 minutes. Thank you.
But I'm 3 people, so I should have 9 people.
No, it doesn't work that way here. Thank you.
Why not?
It does not work that way.
Why not? A power of attorney does not give me the right
to speak for a person? It does not give you the right to speak for 3 people, not here.
No,
and it is at the discretion of the chair, who I am.
I should have known it's your discretion. Thank you.
Ms. George.
Good afternoon, members of the Board of County Commission, Mayor Marino. I'm Dr. Lori George. I'm President and CEO of United Way of Palm Beach County. And I just want to thank so much Administrator Baker for her tireless work to improve lives in Palm Beach County. We've been partners for many, many years, and I am so grateful for that. We partnered to ensure that everybody has access to the basics enough to eat, a safe place to sleep, financial stability, quality education, and access to health care. I'm pleased to share that we're going to honor Administrator Baker as our Hunger Hero this year on April 29th at our Heart of Palm Beach County Awards. Thank you. Over 10 years ago, I came before the Board of County Commission in partnership with Virginia, and you all blessed us to do a real deep dive study. We've been working for the last 10 years tirelessly to transform food security systems in our community. We've worked really hard with the agricultural community, our local food banks and pantries, to ensure that everybody has access not just to food, healthy, nutritious food in the food deserts across the county. And that is a huge impact to you, and appreciate everything that you've done. We love you, and thank you, and congratulations on your retirement.
I'm going to be very short. My name is Addie Green, and I wouldn't be here if it had not been for the people behind me. And I wouldn't be here where I've gone if it had not been for Bob Wiseman and you. And I have a question to ask, and if it's too personal for you to answer it publicly, you don't have to. But that's the only reason I'm here. I don't want you to retire. And I don't think you want to retire. So I'm going to ask you if it's a family matter, you don't want to answer my question, you don't have to. I can ask you in church Sunday. But do you want to retire?
I am glad you asked that question. Yes, it is time. My daughter is in the audience, and if I said anything different, I would not be sitting here tomorrow. But yes, it is time for me to give back to my family. I think Commissioner Weiss talked about it. I have given to this community because that's what public servants do. And so that's what I've done. But it is time for me to be able to go on vacation, as my child stated, without two phones, without riding up to Tallahassee for football games and on the phone constantly, or reading. So it also gives me time to do things with my other daughter, Shani, along with my grandbaby. And she's 8, and I'm missing all of the field trips. I'm missing reading in her class. And this is just time for me. It's time for me to give to me, do some things for myself. I will continue to be in this community. I'm not going anywhere. I belong to a number of organizations. Yes. I will continue to work. Yes. This board will see me. Yes. Future boards will see me. I will continue to give because that's who I am. But I want to take this moment to thank all of you for showing up. I did not ask for it, but you showed up, so that means a lot to me. And it also means a lot to my family because we were a bit surprised. My godson has taken off as well, and I see him in the audience, and I looked out and said, what's he doing here? But I thank all of you, and I thank you, Commissioner Green, because we've been through a number of things. We got a lot of things accomplished, and one of the last things I want to do is complete that community center for you and Commissioner Bernard, because that's a project that started a long time ago, and we are almost completed with that project. So,
well, with
yes.
that, all I have to say is I do hope this commission listened to Dr. Deborah Robertson and the words that she spoke. Thank you.
I believe that it is afternoon now, so I want everyone to look at me. This is Miss Mary Lawrence Brown. It's ironic, I'm standing here again today. See, you're looking at the pioneer with the Urban League, with the most famous Percy H. Lee. I was in the chamber when Percy Lee had that massive heart attack and dropped dead then, so Miss Brown has been around here. I was the fourth speaker, and we was fighting for the same thing that we're fighting for today down at this commissioner here. Hearsay, they say, rumors, appointments. You're not qualified. You can't do this. You can't do this. Yes, you're looking at her right here. Miss Mary Lawrence Brown. This is who I am. Miss Verdina Baker, thank you for your unwavering, dedicated, professional service that you have rendered. More than 38 years here, but outside cannot be measured in numbers. So Ms. Brown, I want to say thank you. And to Tammy Fields, and to John Green, and all of you all that comprise with your commissioners here to make this city work for who it is and what it shall be in the nearest futures to come. As I've always said, I have a bracelet here. As you can see, I have plenty of them. Please get out and vote. My vote bracelet here. The other one here says, what you do matters. What you do matters. Because when you spread these rumors here, this is what happens here. So, no, never do that. Let's continue to be professionals, and let's continue the dialogue with the business at hand. See, Ms. Brown is business. Always have been, always will. I'm always will work together with whoever it is. Because my metaphor is you give me a blank canvas and everybody get a paintbrush, and whatever paint that you want to splash on that canvas, it makes a beautiful masterpiece. That's who we are, and that's who we should be. So this evaluation, if it's gaps in there, evaluate them when they're doing good as well as they're doing bad. That's what Ms. Brown has always done. That's where you know. That's when you can come in as leaders and set some courses and set the precedents that you wish to have. She served you well. She served you more than well. More than well. So enjoy your retirement, because Ms. Brown was totally upset. She only had 2 more months out. What is all of this about here? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, thank you. Madam Mayor, you have on a vote bracelet, and I'm just curious. I know you said you're from Riviera Beach. When is the next time people can vote?
Today. Please get up and vote today. You have no
I voted already.
So if you do not vote. Ms. Brown does not listen to non-voters, and everybody knows that about Ms. Brown. Today, please express that, Chair, Mayor. Please express that. Today, March the 11th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., vote in every municipality. That's where you move things at. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I should be wearing my little vote badge. I voted at 8:05 this morning in Palm Beach Gardens. So if you haven't voted, you have time. Thank you. Sir. Oh, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, is it afternoon?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Barbara Carey Schuler. I am here for one reason, and that was to hear the truth from you. And I thank you for the truth. I thank you because we heard it from your mouths, and we didn't have to read the newspaper or hear it from other folks as a rumor. When I heard it, I said, I can't believe that my friend Ms. Sachs and my friend Mr. Powell that I worked with in the past would allow something like that to happen from this board. So I'm thankful that you told us the way it was and that you were not going to put this county on fire like the fire in California. I'm glad the fire is out now that they've heard it from you. Ms. Baker was representing you long before she became county manager. I know her from her past working with me when I was mayor and chairwoman of Miami-Dade County for years. So she was representing you then, and she is still representing you very well. And I'm just so happy to know her and to know the kind of work that she's done for this county. And it is not easy being county manager. I was there for almost 25 years on that board, and I know what county managers have to go through to make sure that you have a balanced budget, that you represent the people well, and that you are serving well. So I want to say to you, Virginia, I admire you for the work that you've done. I appreciate you for the work that you've done, and I as this board does, respect you for what you've done for this county. So I know when to hold and when to fold. I'm not going to talk anymore because I would have a lot to say, but I know that you ladies especially, and the men, would not let such a thing happen as what happened with that rumor spreading in this town. So thank you again. I appreciate you and your work, and appreciate that you're going to try to find someone who can represent you as well as Ms. Baker. It's going to be a hard job for you to do that, but I know you will, and thank you, Virginia, and thank you from all the people from Delray who came down here today to see and to support what you want to do. And I know that you need to retire and enjoy your life and enjoy your family. God bless you, and God bless all of you for your service.
Thank you. Sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Alfred Fields, the current president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I bring you greetings from the West Palm Beach branch, and first want to say thank you to our officials this afternoon for allowing us to speak. I too received those same rumors that so many received, and when I received them, I considered why, and then I said, maybe I should address them. And I did. As a branch, we stated what our position was when it concerned Ms. Baker. Whether the rumor was true or false, our position would be the same. She's an amazing woman, but most of all, she's the first Black woman to serve in that position. Last month was Black History Month. Thank you. This month is Women History Month. Thank you. So I want to say that I've watched you over the years from afar when your hair was black. When our kids went to the same school and we passed in the cars and I didn't know you personally, and I saw you sitting for many years on television watching the commission meetings, and you represented well. And you continue to represent well. And so when I received that message, I knew we had to have a call to action, without a doubt. Because whether it was true or false, we needed to know the truth. And that's why we showed up today. And I want to say thank you to all of those who came out and supported and wanted to make sure that we were here to speak against, if it was true, but applaud you the way we are this morning and this afternoon, because we know you to be the person that you are. And so we come again from the NAACP of West Palm Beach branch to say, Commission, we're here to work with you, not against you. We want to be a part of the boards that help formulate the thoughts and the positions that we take as a government in this county. I was born and raised in this county, grew up out in the Glades, been on the West Coast, or the East Coast for the last 30 years. So I've been on every part of this county, and I know residents in every part of it. And so I want to say to you, we're here to work with you, and we look forward to being with you as we select the next person to replace her. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Abruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First off, sir, I want to say I greatly respect your organization, an immense deal. But with the statements, whether they were true or false, I just wanted to say this, because as you heard from the commissioners, they cannot speak to one another. This is the first time. I had the privilege of speaking to 5 of the 7 commissioners as this was folding over the weekend. What you're hearing today isn't theater because everybody showed up. The commissioners were appalled, they were disgusted, and probably many other adjectives I could use to really put in their frame of mind. They were legitimately beyond upset at what was occurring. And your show of force here today, emphasizes that much more. I don't want to diminish that, but I want to tell you whether true or false, they were false, completely false. And I wanted to let you know that because I heard it firsthand. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Chuck Ridley. I have the privilege of being the chair of Unify Palm Beach County. Unify has a very simple purpose and mission. We fight for Black people and Black communities in Palm Beach County. I'm here this afternoon to speak to the agenda item around performance evaluations for contracted employees. I would like to start by stating 4 facts. 1, I agree with Dr. Robinson, hit dogs will holler. 2nd, be clear, this rumor did not divide this community. This community was divided long before this rumor came out. It's just another series of the things that we must push back against. 3rd, like Bobby said, like Commissioner Powell said, you mess with one of ours, we coming to see about you. Especially those ladies who dress up in red. You mess with one of them if you want to, you'll find out what gangsters look like. Administrator Baker, thank you. What a career. Whatever made you choose to be an administrator, a public service in this county, I do not know. I do know I benefited from it. I do know my family benefited from it. I know that you understood, like many Black women, how to navigate these systems that look at people like me and can chew them up and spit them out, and still treat that kind of complexity with the dignity it deserved. You made no distinction between the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or a custodian. You saw us all with the dignity and humanity we deserve. And the reason we are here is because that dignity that you deserve, whether rumored or not, we were not going to allow it to be taken for granted. See, you are a giant in real time, and we don't play about you. And if there's anybody else like you in this county, we don't play about them either. Y'all need to know that. I'm just saying.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Earlier, I said some names, and I know how it goes. If I cannot say everybody's name, okay? I don't want to get in trouble, but I do want to recognize, I couldn't see her, but the executive director of the Martin Luther King Coordinating Committee, Ms. Edith Bush, is here. Aunt Edith is in her 90s, so she is still a fighter. And then Mangonia Park Councilwoman Lisa Davis Quince was standing on the wall. Lisa. And I am the chairman of the Palm Beach County Black Elected Officials Caucus, so I don't want to make anybody mad. And then I did see they left earlier, a couple pastors, Pastor Thicklin and Pastor Drayton, so I didn't want to leave anyone out. Sybil Maynard Williams is also here. I grew up in her house half the time. Me and her boys ran track and played football together. So with that being said, everybody else, I love y'all still. I see y'all. I just can't say everybody's name, but I'll see y'all later. Reverend Kistner, I left Reverend Kistner out. And First Lady Mamie Kistner. Okay. All right. Okay, I didn't miss anybody else. All right, if I did, y'all charge it to my head and not my heart. Y'all know I love you, and I'll see you later. If you see me in the streets, y'all know me. Who? We said Commissioner Burdick earlier. We did. We shouted you out. We shouted her out.
Yes, we covered that. Thank
Everybody's
you.
covered.
Everybody's
Y'all are covered. Praise the Lord. Amen. We'll move forward.
Commissioner
All right, thank you.
Powell. We actually have 2 more cards.
We have 2 cards, Deanne Roundtree and Mary Brahman. And we have 2 non-speaking cards, both very kind remarks for Administrator Baker. You can read those. Well, they'll go into the record.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, distinguished guests, and the residents of Palm Beach County. My name is Dr. Deanne Roundtree, and on behalf of our president, Keely Gideon Baker of the Black Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, I'm a fellow board member, I stand before you today to honor the extraordinary legacy of Mrs. Virginia Baker as she prepares to retire after 38 years of transformative service to our community. Mrs. Baker's leadership has been a beacon of excellence, dedication, and equity, leaving an indelible mark on Palm Beach County. Her commitment to inclusive growth and opportunity has set a standard that we must strive to uphold. As we celebrate her legacy, we also look to the future. The selection of the next county administrator is a pivotal moment for our community. To ensure continuity of progress and equity, the Black Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County has established a task force of nonprofit leaders, business owners, C-suite executives, union representatives, faith-based leaders, and community advocates. This diverse group, representing every corner of our county, is ready to collaborate with the Business Development Board, Economic Council, and fellow chambers to identify a leader who reflects our shared values and vision. Including this task force in the selection process will ensure that the next administrator continues Palm Beach County's deep commitment to fostering economic growth, supporting minority-owned businesses, and addressing critical issues such as infrastructure, transportation, housing, and property insurance. These priorities are essential to building a thriving, equitable Palm Beach County. Additionally, we would like to humbly urge the Board of Commissioners to honor Mrs. Baker's legacy in a meaningful way, whether through naming a county facility in her honor or establishing a scholarship or leadership program. Such a tribute would serve as a lasting testament to her dedication to public service and community development. Palm Beach County's success depends on collaboration, and we are eager to work alongside you to ensure a prosperous future for all. Thank you for your time, leadership, and commitment to honoring the past while building a brighter tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you. And we have one more card, Mary Brahman.
Yes, Mary Brahman.
I did speak.
Oh.
I did speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your name. Apologize.
I did speak. Okay, I'm
No, you don't get another 3 minutes. Thank you very much. We appreciate everyone that was here that spoke. Your words mean a lot to us, and I think you can see from where we are that the rumors of Ms. Baker leaving us before May 31st are just that. They are rumors. Ms. Baker has been kind enough to give us 90 days in which to help us go forward, in which to guide us in our endeavors to find an interim administrator help us in our endeavors to deliver a budget that we as a Board of County Commissioners can approve and accept, and guide us in how we deal with everyone in the future, how we accept everyone in the future, and how we go forward. And Ms. Baker, I don't know if you want to say anything or not, because you've got plenty of time until May 31st, but I just want to let everyone in the audience know, thank you very much for being here today. We still have business to conduct. I'm not sure what my board wants to do, if they want to jump into some of this business or they just want to go to lunch till 2 o'clock, but we do have several items. I have lunch and I have moved forward till 1 o'clock. Okay. Again, I said I figured that the administration item A1 and 2 was going to take us a little bit more time than 20 minutes is what we have. So if it would be okay with the board, I would like to move that as the last agenda item.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to amend the agenda to move those to the end of the agenda.
I'll second.
Can I just make a request? We do it this time, though?
Yes,
We moved
it will.
once before.
No, this will be the last item that we talk on today, but it will come after lunch and after matters by the public at 2 o'clock.
Can I just ask one question, please, when you get a chance?
Commissioner Sachs, your light is on.
If I could ask Ms. Baker to introduce her family, and I have the question is this the red of your sorority? Right? Is this the red of your sorority, Ms. Baker?
Yes.
And you
it
have
is.
family here. I wonder
I do.
if you could introduce them.
Jasmine Baker, please stand up. Jasmine Nicole.
Oh, I know Jan. I can see her. I can see her.
And my godson, Dennis Mobley.
Hey, Dennis.
And our best friend, Sophia Calhoun.
Very nice.
And I'd also like to thank, this is what happens when you do
Jasmine tells
this.
you what to do.
Yes, she does. Also, our other best friend, Carolyn Williams-Smith. Thank you for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much. Thank you. Is that
And
the red
all
of
my
the
church
sorority?
members. No.
Soras?
Some of them, but not all.
Oh.
But I'd like to thank all my church members. We could have had church up in here, but thank you. Pastor, First Lady, thank you very much.
Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, but we do need a motion. We had a motion from
Mayor,
Commissioner Weiss.
I was going to actually ask if Commissioner Weiss wouldn't mind amending the motion. If we could put 61 first. I have people here from Belglade who might not want to have to come all the way back and wait through lunch. If we could just do that real quick.
I will accept that, and so we will amend the motion so that 6D1 will become our next item.
Thank you.
So 6A1 and 2 will go to the end. We're going to move 6D1 forward, and then after that, we will continue on the calendar as amended.
I'm sorry, may I?
Sure.
If you're going to move 6D1, I think 6D2 is by the same group. I don't know, but that's what the name
Yes,
is.
so together, 61 and 2.
Okay.
Right. Restating my motion I will restate the motion. We're going to move 6A1 and 2 to the end of the agenda. 6D1 and 2 will become our next regular agenda items.
So I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. So we will now address item 6D1. Does anybody need a presentation?
Nope.
Can we get a very short one? And I do have some questions.
Okay. Short presentation, questions.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Jonathan Brown, Department of Housing, Economic Development, with the team that's here.
Pull it forward. No, you have to pull the mics forward because otherwise we can't hear you well.
Okay. So again, Jonathan Brown, Department of Housing, Economic Development, with the team that's here. So let's jump into the project. So today we're bringing back to the board this particular item. This particular item was presented to the board back in May of 2024. The developer is the One North Lake LLC. They are requesting $4.65 million, which represents 26.9% of the county's total investment toward the total cost of the project. The period of affordability is 50 years. Project is located in the city of Pahokee. We're looking at 54 units up to 120% of the AMI. And again, we wanted to show you kind of the capital stack and where the county's housing funds are going to go in this particular project. Again, this is a little different than the other projects in that the county has, when we put in restrictions to the bonds, the county commission had approved this first, and so those restrictions didn't apply, so you'll see the 120% AMI. Now, over the last few weeks, we have had some discussions with the developers of the project because we've heard the board say rental rates are high. And the developer is here today to bring back to the board any thoughts or any ideas on reduced rental rates. Again, because we've heard the board, we had to be gentle because it was conceptually approved by the board, but we did want to make sure the developer was aware of the concerns the board had on projects. And so at this particular time, here's a breakdown of the units. What you will see is that we've given you a few different things. You see the number of units, the square footage, the bed and bathroom counts, the AMIs for the units for this project. We gave you 3 different rent looks. One is the Florida Housing Finance Corporation rents. The second one is the HUD Fair Market rents. And then the last one is the developer's proposed rents. The reason we did the HUD Fair Market is that when you take a look at market rate rents throughout the county, it took in consideration everything. But when we use HUD Fair Market rents, we can drill down to the zip code. And what we did for this project in particular is we averaged the HUD Fair Market rents for the city of South Bay, Belglade, and Pahokee. And that's how we come up with the HUD Fair Market rents for this particular project. And so again, consistent with the board, you conceptually approve it, we're bringing the project back, but we did need to hear from the board, the developer needs to hear from the board, if there are some conversations regarding rental rates. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have questions from Commissioner Woodward and then Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor.
And then Commissioner Vice Mayor Baxter.
To go to the fair market rate, thank you for doing this, because I think this first started with a Lake Worth project and another one in Riviera Beach, where we were discussing what's the actual local market, because doing a countywide number, I mean, we're tied to that with AMI, but when we're building in specific areas, the market is very different. So giving us these numbers, and I would like to note that and make sure that I'm correct when I'm reading this, the fair market rate, these numbers come from a geographic area, so we're using a specific area, and it's occupied by recent movers with adjustments to exclude public housing units and substandard units, meaning that affordable housing numbers are not put into this to artificially lower what this is. This is the market.
Correct.
So that being said, with these numbers, this project is coming in around $500 more for one bedroom than the market. I need help with this one. I'm having a lot of trouble supporting this. I'm happy to hear from the developers. But in this area, we're looking at $800 difference in 2 bedrooms, similar with 3 bedrooms above market. And if we're going to do affordable housing, what's considered, we're subsidizing these numbers. And we now know what the market will hold in South Bay, Pahokee, and Belglade. How can we justify calling this affordable housing? It's based on a countywide AMI, but the market in this area would be below what is considered workforce affordable housing. Can you answer that, or would the developer like to?
I would prefer the developer, because again, we've expressed those concerns to the developer, and the developer was going to come today and share some thoughts. So we'll.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Chuck Lesnick, and I'm flanked by Aaron Taylor and Donya Roberts. I want to point out, and I'm a big advocate for affordable housing, but the number that you're referencing is 40% of the HUD fair market value, not 100%, not 70%. We're in a workforce housing project here, and I think what's important, we've been working on this project for about 4 or 5 years in both Pahokee and in Westgate. Don has been working for 20 years on this project to get something done and to look at the comparable numbers. And what you're referencing is the number that they usually use for Section 8 certificates, or what they use for low-income housing tax credits. When you have deep subsidies like that, you can, as a developer, subsidize. We don't have that. We're using HUD's 221D program, which is for workforce housing, and the interest rate's about 6%, also for 40 years. By the way, I want to applaud the County Board of Commissioners for giving us this pool of money to match the HUD money, and the staff that you have in the county here has been absolutely tremendous in getting us to this point where we are now. But just be clear that number that you're focusing on is 40% of the AMI, which is what you would do for low-income housing tax credits.
Can I have staff address how we got to these numbers?
We'll correct that. It's not 40% of the AMI. But Carlos, you want to explain the 40 percentile that's used?
Turn that on and pull it closer.
Sorry about that. The HUD fair market rents, I mean, my mouth is on it. HUD fair market rents are calculated based by HUD based on American Community Survey data, which they then adjust for per a survey of recently rented units, and then they adjust for inflation. They are set at the 40th percentile, meaning that out of their calculations, they identify the full distribution of rents in that particular geographic area, and then they set them at the 40th percentile as opposed to the midpoint, which would be the 50th percentile.
Yeah, you see.
So are we kind of saying half are above and half are below?
If it was set at the midpoint, the 50th percentile, you would have half above, half below. HUD sets its fair market rents at the 40th percentile, so they are set at below the midpoint.
So when I asked for us to be able to look at what the market in the geographical area is this considered the most accurate?
This would be the most accurate if we're using the HUD fair market. And I'm saying it that way because there is no Zillow number that we can look at by zip code. There is no other data point that we can look at by zip code. The only ones that we can look at by zip code would be the HUD fair market rents.
Okay, well, and my other concern is these are listed at a maximum of 120% AMI. Your rents are significantly lower than what is allowed. However, why are we setting it at 120%? Does that mean at some future date you could go up to whatever the maximum allowed is under the 120%? Or are you guaranteeing to be $1,000 under that?
Yeah, that's the beauty of this program, is we can't raise the rents above this.
Above which?
Above what we're presenting to you now. Because of HUD. Because we're locked in for 40 years.
But you're locking in at 120% AMI, right?
No, in Pahokee it's 70%. In Westgate it's a different story. But in item 61, which is the first item we're discussing, it's 70%. And we did a market study. HUD does a market study, and they came back and they told us these are the rents that we can charge.
So why do we have listed in your application 120%? Is that a clerical error?
Commissioner,
Or is that what you're
if I can
putting?
answer that. When they submitted their original proposal, because they came under the workforce, they wanted to go up to 120% AMI for the projects. What they're committing to based on the underwriting and based on what we have is that they will cap the 1-1s at 70%, they'll cap the 2-2 at 75, 78, and the 3-3 at 72. But the 120 is what the initial proposal was based on.
And the 110% was not set by the board until after those two were conceptually approved.
I do know that. So if
Okay.
this is actually going to be at 70%, will that's going to be in the contract and clear that it can't at some point go to 120?
If that's the board's direction, we'll make sure that these percentages of AMI will be included in the contract.
Okay, well, that I would ask if the board agrees that number is solidified in the contract and not just, because we can't put, the dollar amount. A dollar amount will go up as inflation, and, you're not tying to that number for the rest of forever. But if we could put that into the contract, I would like that. I still feel the numbers are high, but if it's going to be capped at the 70, then I'm okay with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple more questions when we have a couple cards. Okay, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. So can you just clarify, what are they going to charge, or what are they saying they're going to charge for rent?
So based on the proposed rents for the 1-1, Commissioner Weiss, they'll charge the $1,406. For the 2-2, at least 38 of those units, they're going to charge $1,783. For 3 of those 2-2s, it'll be $1,687, and then for the 6 3-3s, $1,945. No, I'm sorry, $949.
And this is what we get for paying almost a third of the cost of building this?
That's the proposal that was conceptually approved by the board, and so we didn't want to. While we pushed back on the rents, we wanted to make sure that we were working within the approval that they had from the board.
And what's the repayment on this?
The repayment would be 1% over a 40-year period. A 40-year period with an affordability period of 50 years. So a 40.
Does the payment start at day one, or is there a?
We haven't finalized the contract, but typically you'll be looking at the payment starting after stabilization. After the project is stabilized, then we'll have something where the principal payments begin. I'm looking at the team over there, but we'll finalize the agreement. But typically, you're talking about after stabilization. Now, I know with the bond program, which mirrors this, there are some allowances if the board wants to provide allowances to where they don't have to start repaying principal right away. But again, that'll have to come back, and we'll have to make sure the board is clear on that agreement.
This just seems like it's really expensive for the amount of money that's being invested in it.
Understood, Commissioner, and that's why, again, we shared with the developer the concerns that the board has been expressing and sharing with regards to rents. And we wanted to give them an opportunity today to, be here to address those questions because it's their proposal and it was what was conceptually approved by the board.
I understand that, but when we conceptually approve something, that's just to keep it going, to allow it so we didn't just kill it.
So it can go to underwriting, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And to find out whether it was viable. I'm looking at you guys, but I don't think this is a very good deal for the people.
It's not a great deal for us. We're getting about a 4% rate of return. But Don, you can speak to the cost of building in the Glades, because she's been trying to do it for 20 years.
I mean, it's saying that the cost is about $320,000 a unit.
That's the cost. Yeah.
So, if I may, Donya Roberts, good afternoon, everyone. I have been working.
Can you talk closer to the mic, please?
Yes. I was raised in Pahokee and have worked my entire career in Palm Beach County working on trying to help redevelop the downtown and revitalize and rejuvenate the downtown area of Pahokee. There are no other projects like this other than Okias have not had any building in Pahokee in over 60 years. It is more expensive to build there than anywhere else in the county because of the demucking and because of we've come back to the table on this for several times too, and there are changes in the supply chain. Labor is more expensive, and there are people who are looking for this type of housing, and there is no other housing, and there's nothing in the pipeline coming. So while these look high, there is, when you compare it to where people could live in West Palm Beach, there are firefighters and school teachers that are driving from Pahokee and to live in Royal Palm Beach and Wellington and paying for gas. These will be inexpensive housing for those type of people to be able to come into our community to get this project onto the tax base for the city of Pahokee. Every single one of their commissioners is in favor of this project. Their new city manager is in favor of this project, and they are working with us with all of the new zoning requirements and things that we've had to go through out there to try to get to this point. So I'm hopeful that you all can consider that the comparison there are no comparables. There are no comparables, and I don't know how to say that any more plainly. But please.
Hi, Aaron Taylor. I promise I'll be brief.
That's okay.
I think a couple of things that no one's looking at. Economic obsolescence is real, and I think I mentioned that out before. So the construction costs are going to be the same, actually it's a little higher in Pahokee because of what she said. But one of the requirements of the RFP, and any lender for that matter, is we have a debt service coverage requirement. Most lenders is like 1.2, 1.25. With the county, I think it was a little bit lower. With HUD, I think it was a little bit lower. At Pahokee, We have lowered the rents as low as they can be just for us to meet that minimum requirement. It has taken from the time they first got involved, I know, about 15 years to get to this point. The last time we were at the board before we were conceptually approved, when we first kind of brought this to you guys, we were already approved for a smaller amount of units. And conceptually, the board said, look, yes, we want to see something in Pahokee, but we want to see if you can get more units. We went back to the drawing board. The developer spent another $500,000 trying to get those units. We got through zoning. We got through everything that you guys asked us to do. We got through another round of RFP attempts. You guys were kind enough to move us into a different funding source. Staff has been working hard and killing themselves to try to fit us into a box that isn't really a perfect little box to fit in. I will say this, unless you live in an area, you don't really know what people can afford. It wasn't until I started going out there and talking to people that actually live there that do drive to Wellington or are considering moving out of Pahokee into Wellington because they can be closer to work. They're willing to pay Wellington rents just because Pahokee itself is economically depressed. Not everybody in Pahokee is economically depressed. They want to stay there, but they want quality housing. There is no option for them to have it unless somebody provides it. So in addition to the debt service coverage, which we cannot go below, we cannot. That would kick us out of the requirements of the RFP. It would also kick us out of the requirements for HUD. Where else can we move? The construction prices, we've bid it multiple times. We're at a point where we've attempted to even consider the material cost and we had the architect re-engineer it to see if there were alternative materials that we could use. We're at a loss. The only people that suffer if this project doesn't go forward are the city of Pahokee. Unfortunately, the city manager wanted to be here. Let's pray for his wife. She's in a health situation, but he did send me this letter just yesterday to say it in the record if I could. He said, as the city manager of the city of Pahokee, I, Michael E. Jackson, city manager, along with Mayor Babb and the entire city commission, have been in complete support of the 54-unit multifamily project known as One North Lake. The city has been waiting for a project such as this to help revitalize the downtown core district, as we believe it will serve as a catalyst for other investors to recognize Pahokee as part of the county, ultimately triggering overall future economic development within the city of Pahokee. The size and scope of this project will bring such needed economic development growth, not just in the quality of housing provided in our city, but also providing an influx of direct and indirect spending in our local economy, such as the marina and campground, other local restaurants, gas stations, shops, and for an estimated period of about 18 months from the commencement of construction of the projects to the project's completion. Although the estimated rents are higher than what is typically found in Pahokee, elected officials and members of the public were made known of what to expect on the project to receive the project receive unanimous support. A great mix of all level housing is what is needed to assist our collective goals to increase the city's tax base. We look forward to your support for final approval of funding allocation needed to make this long-awaited vision a reality for our city. My question is to the commission, although the rents are concerned, if the city, and when I gave the presentation to the city commission and to their board, I put the rents in there because they're the ones that have to bear the burden of.
Yeah, but we're the ones giving the subsidy.
I understand.
They're the ones collecting the taxes, we're the ones giving the subsidy, and I just want to make sure that what we're doing is going to benefit the people, because this money could be put into another project that would potentially have lower rents. And so I would look to staff. So I just want to make sure I'm reading your chart correctly. So at a 70% AMI, the rent would be $1,406?
Yes, sir.
And at 75% AMI, the next one would be $1,928. And so these are all going to be under 80% AMI.
For the Florida housing, yes, sir, 1928. But what they're looking at charging would be the 1783 and then the 1687 for the two different.
So the 78 becomes the 1687. Is that?
Mm-hmm. The 78 is 1687. That's what they're proposing to charge. If we were to use Florida housing rental chart said they can charge up to 1928.
Okay, so the FHFC that's not on here. That's not nobody's proposing that. Okay, all right.
And then that's part of the difference here too. Again, we don't question the project, and we've talked about this before.
I think we've talked about the value economically to the downtown of Pahokee. I think we all understand that. It's just seeing these rental costs, and with a third of it being, at very low-cost money, you know. All right.
One of the comments, Commissioner, we talked about before projects that are able to receive tax credits or sale, and those are low-cost funds that will help to lower the cost of projects. But we talked about there being a limited source of tax credits and sales at the state level. So again, the developer was aware. We talked to him about that. But if one or two projects are selected a year, then it's going to be a little challenging for all of the projects to receive tax credits or sale other low-cost monies that could lower the cost of rent.
Right. And just to be clear, so these rents will never go above those AMI numbers, is that correct?
Based on your decision today, yes, sir.
It's based on a percentage.
We need to address the fact that the AMI numbers change. I don't want to leave the board with the impression that these numbers are not going to change and they will remain the same.
You're correct, ma'am. The rents will change, but if we cap it at 70%, then we'll always look at the 70% rate, which would change, but it would be 70% AMI, 75%, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. A few questions. How many projects have come before us for any sort of workforce, affordable housing in the Pahokee area?
In the city of Pahokee, I think this is the first one in a while. We've had conversations with the city, but this is the first one.
When you say a while, what's a while?
I've been here 7 years, and I want to say this is probably the third project that I've had a conversation about.
Similar to Belglade and South Bay?
Belglade, more projects coming through. South Bay would be similar.
And this pot of dollars that we're using, we established, I believe it was roughly $5 million, and then I think it rolled over and we approved $10 million.
Yes, ma'am, in the Housing Initiative Partnership. Yes,
And how
ma'am.
many projects have used those dollars?
I believe this would be the third project.
Got 3 projects that are lined up on the HIP money. This one, the Westgate project, and then the Waterview that we approved previously came in on the HIP money.
And isn't this exactly the type of project that doesn't fit into that square we were talking about, or that perfect box that these dollars were allocated for?
Yes, because they are getting FHA funds that have a 40-year term. And that would not fit within the bond terms.
Absolutely. And when we were talking about comparables, and I'm trying to be quick, guys, because I think we're hungry up here and we have to be back by 2 for matters by the public. When we have this sort of comparable, I mean, anyone who's been or driven through Pahokee, there's nothing to compare that. We're talking about brand new construction, brand new apartments, brand new places for people to live, everywhere from the affordable lower rate rents to market rate for, you know, some of our first responders or people. I mean, the number one thing I've heard from resounding all through the Glades region is we need housing. We need housing, we need a place for people to live. So I want to especially thank you guys for hanging in there for the long haul and the long journey this has taken to get there. I mean, over a decade of work to try to just get some units in Pahokee. And I would really hate to see my board, you know, go against something. This, I mean, yes, this is my district, but it is also a very important project that has been in the works for a very long time. And I would hate to see us try to hinder that here today. So thank you, and thank you, staff, for working with them to get this to where it is. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Flores.
So, in line with Commissioner Woodward and Weiss, I'm struggling here, guys. These numbers for that community is astronomical. I come from a city standpoint, and I would love new construction in Pahokee. Absolutely would. But I'm struggling with what you guys are going to be charging for rent. And I'm wondering if there's any other way to lower these numbers. And you guys are the only ones that can answer that. And I don't want to put you on the spot today, but I'm struggling with the numbers. And then it's a 40-year, 1%. You guys are a for-profit. We're giving you $100,000 for a grant. This accounts for 27% of the total project value. So where I'm at right now, the only thing going for you is the comments that the vice mayor just made. But I'm struggling with this. And if you guys want more time to come back to us and sharpen the pencil, I would invite that, because right where I'm standing, I don't know if you're going to like my answer. Thank you.
Commissioner Powell and then Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let me just make sure I'm on the right project here. Is this the One North Lake LLC?
Yes, sir.
And the chart that I see, the 2025 market rates show 890, 1060, 1380. What is that chart? Am I looking at the right chart?
I'm looking at the one you put on the agenda item.
So Commissioner, the chart that you're looking at was the one we put on the agenda item, and I apologize, it's a little misleading. What we were trying to convey is what the HUD fair market rent is, but the correct chart is in the backup documents, but it's this here in terms of the proposed developer rents.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I've had I want to thank the development team for the opportunity to speak with me on yesterday. And my concern is not the cost of rents in this particular area. Of course, that is a part of the concern, but new construction is very expensive. And to have a developer coming in, one of the issues with the Glaze area is the cost of demucking. As you all know, when we're looking at the construction of a road project in the Glades, the astronomical costs, and this is something that at the state level we've been dealing with for a very, very, very long time. As many of us has traveled through the Glades area, we've seen that they are in desperate need of housing. Desperate need of housing. There are some very dilapidated buildings that need to come down, not like today, like 10 years ago. Like, we've got work to do. And I believe that every step forward is a step we must take. We have to. And it's incumbent upon this board, when we're talking about spending, $4.6 million of the HIP money, that is a necessity for that area. Like most areas in Palm Beach County, people are having a hard time finding housing. It's my belief that we have to move forward with this project. As staff has indicated, as the Vice Mayor has indicated, there are very few projects that come forward for the Glades area, whether it be Belle Glade, South Bay, or Pahokee. As the development team has pointed out, they have support letters from the city manager and the board. I believe this is a necessary step for us to move forward. Now, if I were to question anything, and you guys know, and lady, we spoke about this yesterday, we increased the term of the loan from 20 years to 40 years, and it is supposed to be a revolving loan. By increasing that term, it's at 1%. The FHA loan is at the market rate for the return on that loan, the interest. As it amortizes, if you look at mortgages, if you get a 30-year mortgage, or in this case, a 40-year loan, the percentage or the amount of interest usually increases. We've allowed, in this instance, to have a 40-year loan at 1%, and that's not you all, that would be us. In the future, I think if other entities are going to capitalize on the length of the loan and increase, I think we should increase the percentage of that amount in terms of what we allow, and still make it affordable. And the caveat is, if you know how amortization works, right? If you pay it off quicker, you pay less interest. It's just that simple. You pay off your house in 10 years as opposed to 30, you don't really pay 8%. You pay much less. But that's something that we should look at. It's an incentive to get it done. I'm in support. I support this project, and I would love to move forward today. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you. And I know we're all hungry, especially me, so I'll be quick. How much are we paying for this workforce housing? How much of this is county money?
The HIP Housing Investment Partnership Funds is $4,650,000, and then the county has already made an award
So
of
we have $4 million
$100,000.
and change?
Yes.
4 million and change. And how much is coming from HUD?
The $9 million from the primary lender.
Okay. And this is for workforce housing in an area where they can't afford it. The rents, is that what it comes down to?
It's a workforce housing
Project.
Yes, ma'am.
In a city that cannot afford, the folks there, for the reason that we have discussed here and by the district commissioner, really cannot afford the rent of this housing.
I don't want to speak to that part, Commissioner, because I don't know. What I'm saying is it's a workforce housing
knows?
deal. The city and the industries out there would be a better indicator of the salaries.
Before we put in $4 million or $9 million, should we not know if the people of that area can afford the rents of that workforce housing? Or could we not make some other arrangements for housing? These folks need housing.
And
It appears to me, from my fellow commissioners, that to build there is too high to, I mean, you can only build what you can build. And if it costs that much to build and the rents are that high, that may not be the appropriate building for that area. Have you looked into that?
And,
Sure, of course, go right ahead.
So the developer can probably speak to this, but for the FHA loan from HUD that we participated in and calls for over a year, they required a marketing study of the area.
And the marketing study, did it show that the people of Pahokee can afford these rents? I'm asking staff, because this is our money.
Yes, because they approved it. It's been
Okay, so
HUD
the people of Pahokee can afford these rents?
for Pahokee.
Yes.
For Pahokee, correct?
Well,
No,
where
it
are we
was,
building?
it was Pahokee.
Okay,
It
these
did-
are in
and-
Pahokee.
And part of the reason that took a length of time that it did is exactly as Vice Mayor Baxter stated, the comparables were difficult, but we have people out there that are in healthcare, in fire rescue, in our police departments, and even our fleet management stations are out there, and teachers.
So the teachers and firefighters and other folks who live in Pahokee and can afford this rent.
Yes, or they don't live in Pahokee and want to work where they live, want to live where they work.
Okay. And that's why I'm troubled by it. Because I like to put our money into areas where the people can afford. If people are coming from other areas to live there because it's a cheaper rent, that doesn't work in Palm Beach County, right? And how much does it pay? How much are we, and I know y'all work very hard on this, and I appreciate and I know you are from Pahokee, and I appreciate what you're trying to do. But how much is it costing for each unit of this project?
The total cost per unit is $319,815.
Well, all I got to say is that I am troubled by this.
And then the county's contribution per unit is $86,111.
Vice Mayor Baxter?
We've heard multiple comments, and I guess ultimately the way we'll see where everyone stands is by voting on this and seeing if we can go to lunch or not. So I will make the motion to approve 61A, B, and C, adding in the language that it cannot exceed the 70% AMI.
Just to clarify, would it be the 70, 75, 78, and 72 that's on the chart?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the chart. And so that's my motion.
And I have a second from Commissioner Powell. I did not weigh in, and I will be brief. Pahokee needs this. While I'm not happy with the numbers, while I'm not happy with the percentage that we have to contribute, it's a difficult place to build, so I will be in support. So we have a motion and a second. Do you have the maker of the motion and the second? Okay. Commissioner Woodward?
Thank you. Could I also clarify, I know that we're adding the language about the mid-lease
Yes, ma'am.
changes, because, I mean, the numbers are changing next month, apparently.
That
And
will
we're
be part
we're
of it.
certain, these are the numbers that have to be hit. Just, I'm struggling. I think a lot of us, we're struggling with this. We want to see a project built out there, but, you know, this is the taxpayers of the entire county that, you know, everyone pays into this system, and, you know, it is a struggle. Are we certain that there's no sharpening of the pencil here?
We've asked the developer, and so they appear to have been certain that these are the rents they need in order to support the debt service coverage to repay their primary lender and the county.
And the county's called their underwriting.
Did you want to?
We
You all
had
put
three
cards in.
but they were all, I think they're yours. Aaron Taylor, Chuck Lasade.
That's me. We've
Okay,
spoken, yes.
And Daniel Roberts, that's the three of you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? See that the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, everyone.
Sure.
So I just want to be clear. The only reason I voted for this project is for the people of Pahokee. I didn't like the terms. I didn't like anything about it. So I'm telling staff right now, don't bring anything back like that, because from my standpoint, it's not going anywhere. So thank you.
And I know we wanted to take on another, but I think we all need to go take a break for lunch. So we will come back at 2 o'clock with matters by the public, and then
No
after
worries. Yeah, we're fine.
after matters by the public, we will continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. very
Thank you.
much.
Yes, me too.
Well, they couldn't do the same one right here.
They're going to have questions. And if this was at Western, you know,